स्थापकाय च धर्मस्य सर्वधर्मस्वरूपिणे अवतारवरिष्ठाय रामकृष्णाय ते नमः। जननीं शारदां देवीं रामकृष्णं जगद्गुरुं पादपद्मे तयो श्रित्वा प्रणमामि नमः श्रीयतिराजाय विवेकानन्दसूरये सच्चित् सुखस्वरूपाय स्वामिने नमः। भवसागरो तारो हे रोमिनान्तारो भान्तारो हे भवसागरो तारो हे रोमिनान्तारो भान्तारो हे no jane.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Amai man kamai kam chamai cham kamai kam kamai cham kamai cham yamai man chamai cham. Om Aim Sarvadeva Devi Swarupa Shri Ramakrishna Namaha. Om Aim Sarvadeva Devi Swarupa Shri Ramakrishna Namaha. Om Aim Sarvadeva Devi Swarupa Shri Ramakrishna Namaha. Om Durge Durge Lakshmi Swaha. Om Amum Pat Swaha. Om Bhuta Shungakachara Sushumna Padena Deva Shivam Paramashiva Pade Yojayani Swaha. Om Yam Linga Shriram Shoshe Shoshe Swaha. Om Ram Sanko Shriram Dahadaha Swaha. Om Paramashiva Sushumna Padena Mola Shunga Kamala Sola Sajvala Jvala Prajvala Prajvala Soham Amsa Swaha. Namo Pachvaha, Namo Pachvaha, Namo Pachvaha. Om Amrim Krom Yam Ram Lam Vam Sham Sham Sam Om Amsah Shri Ramakrishna Devataya Pranaya Pranaha. Om Amrim Krom Yam Ram Lam Vam Sham Sham Sam Om Amsah Shri Ramakrishna Devataya Jivastitah. Om Amrim Krom Yam Ram Lam Vam Sham Sham Sam Om Amsah Shri Ramakrishna Devataya Sarvendriyani. Om Amrim Krom Yam Ram Lam Vam Sham Sham Sam Om Amsah Shri Ramakrishna Devataya Vang Manashchokshatva Kushotra Grana Pranaya Gatasukam Jam Tishtantu Swaha. ओमस्य मातृका मंत्रस्य ब्रह्मर्षि गायत्री चंदहा देवी मातृका सरस्वती देवता अलो बीजानि स्वरः शक्तये अव्यक्तकं कीलकं सर्वाभीष्ट सिद्धये विन्यासेन योगः. ओम ब्रह्मणे ऋषे नमः. ओम गायत्री छंदसे नमः. ओम देवी मातृका सरस्वती देवताये नमः. ओम अल्पे बीजेभ्यो नमः. ओम स्वरेभ्यो शक्तिभ्यो नमः. ओम अव्यक्तकीलकाय नमः. Am kham kham gam kham nim amangustabhyam namaha. Im cham cham jam jam nim im tarjibhyam swaha. Om tam tham dam dham nam om madamabhyam vachatam. Im tham tham dam dham nam aimanamikabhyam hum. Om pam 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 mam om karishakabhyam vochata. Am yam ram lam vam sham sham sam ham lam cham hakata pushtabhyam swahapatam. Am kham kham gam kham nim amrudyaya namaha. Im cham cham jam jam nim shirse swaha. Om tham dham 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 nam shikaya vachatam. Im tham tham dham dham nam ainkavachaya hum. Om pam 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 neta traivoshata. Nam yam ram lam vam sham sham sam ham lam cham ha. Kalpushtabhyam swahapatam. एतेभ्यो गन्धादिभ्यो नमः. ओम एतेभ्यो गन्धादिभ्यो नमः. ओम एतेभ्यो गन्धादिभ्यो नमः. ओम एते गन्धपुष्पे एतदधिपते देवाय श्री विष्णवे नमः. ओम एते गन्धपुष्पे एतत् संप्रदानाय सर्वदेव देवी स्वरूपाय श्रीरामकृष्णाय नमः. ओम नमो विवस्वते ब्रह्मन् भास्वते विष्णुतेजसे जगत्सवित्रे शुचे सवित्रे कर्मदायिने येषु अर्घ्यः. ओम श्री सूर्याय नमः. ओम जपा कुसुम संकाशम काशितेयं महागतिं भान्तारिं सर्वपापाग्निं प्रणतोऽस्तु दिवाकरम्. ओम ऐं एते गन्धपुष्पे श्रीगुरवे नमः. ओम एते गन्धपुष्पे गणेशादि पंचदेवताभ्यो नमः. ओम गम एते गन्धपुष्पे गणेशाय नमः. ओम नमः शिवाय. एते गन्धपुष्पे शिवाय नमः. ओम एते गन्धपुष्पे श्री सूर्याय नमः. ओम नमो नारायणाय. एते गन्धपुष्पे नारायणाय नमः. ओम ह्रीं एते गन्धपुष्पे जय दुर्गायै नमः। ओम एते गन्धपुष्पे आदित्यादिनवग्रहेभ्यो नमः। ओम एते गन्धपुष्पे काल्यादशमहाविद्याभ्यो नमः। ओम एते गन्धपुष्पे मत्स्यादशावतारेभ्यो नमः। ओम एते गन्धपुष्पे सर्वाभ्यो देवीभ्यो नमः। ओम एते गन्धपुष्पे सर्वाभ्यो देवीभ्यो नमः। ओम एते गन्धपुष्पे अकारादिपञ्चाशद्वर्णेभ्यो नमः। ओम एते गन्धपुष्पे प्रतिपदातिथिभ्यो नमः। ओम एते गन्धपुष्पे कृष्णपक्षाय नमः। ओम एते गन्धपुष्पे शुक्लपक्षाय नमः। ओम एते गन्धपुष्पे अमावास्यै नमः। ओम एते गन्धपुष्पे पूर्णिमायै नमः। ओम एते गन्धपुष्पे निवेदिताय नमः। ओम एते गन्धपुष्पे भगवान् संकुद्धदेवाय नमः। ओम एते गन्धपुष्पे येसुदेवाय नमः। ओम एते गन्धपुष्पे पूजनीय नगर देवदेवीभ्यो नमः। ओम ऐं प्रमत्तं शक्तिसंयुक्तं भाणात्यच्च महाप्रभुं कामबाणान्वितं देवं संसारदहनक्षमं शृङ्गारागरसोल्लासं भाणात्यं परमेश्वरम् एवं ध्यात्वा बाणलिङ्गं विरेत्तं परमं शिवम्। ओम त्र्यंबकं यजामहे सुगन्धिं पुष्टिवर्धनम् उर्वारुकमिव बन्धनात् मृत्योर्मुक्षीयमामृतात्। ओम त्र्यंबकं यजामहे सुगन्धिं पुष्टिवर्धनम् उर्वारुकमिव बन्धनात् मृत्योर्मुक्षीयमामृतात्। ओम त्र्यंबकं यजामहे सुगन्धिं पुष्टिवर्धनम् उर्वारुकमिव बन्धनात् मृत्योर्मुक्षीयमामृतात्। ऐमेष गन्धः बाणेश्वर शिवाय नमः। ऐमिदं सचन्दनपुष्पं बाणेश्वर शिवाय नमः। ऐमेष धूपः बाणेश्वर शिवाय नमः। ओम तत्पुरुषाय विद्महे महादेवाय धीमहि तन्नो रुद्रः प्रचोदयात्। ओम ऐमेष दीपः बाणेश्वर शिवाय नमः। ओम तत्पुरुषाय विद्महे महादेवाय धीमहि तन्नो रुद्रः प्रचोदयात्। ओम शम्भवे नमः। ओम नमस्ते अस्तु भगवन् विश्वेश्वराय महादेवाय त्र्यम्बकाय त्रिपुरान्तकाय त्रिकाग्निकालाय कालाग्निरुद्राय नीलकण्ठाय मृत्युञ्जयाय सर्वेश्वराय सदाशिवाय श्रीमन्महादेवाय नमः। ऐमेष दीपः बाणेश्वर शिवाय नमः। ओम एते नमस्ते सुप्रणनिवेद्याय नमः। ओम ऐमिदं सुप्रणनिवेद्यं बाणेश्वर शिवाय नमः। पुनः स्वाहा। ओम ऐमिदं पानार्थकं बाणेश्वर शिवाय नमः। ओम ऐमिदं पुनराचमोदकं बाणेश्वर शिवाय नमः। ओम भीमेशे गणपुष्पे गौर्यै नमः। ओम ऐमेशश्चन्द्र पुष्पाञ्जलि बाणेश्वर शिवाय नमः। ओम बाणेश्वराय नरकाणवतारणाय ज्ञानप्रदाय करुणामय सागराय कर्पूरकुन्दधवलेन्दु जटाधराय दारिद्र्य दुःखनाय नमः शिवाय। ओम ऐं सर्वदेव देवी स्वरूपाय श्रीरामकृष्णाय नमः। ब्रह्म ऋषि गायत्री छन्दः सर्वदेव देवी स्वरूप श्रीराम विष्णु देवता ऋषि आदिन्यासे नियोगः। ओम ब्रह्मणे विषये नमः। ओम गायत्री चमसे नमः।
number 12,
ओम सर्वदेवदेवी
page
स्वरूपा श्री
17.
रामकृष्णाय नमः। ऐं खं खं गं गं ऐं अङ्गुष्ठाभ्यां नमः। तान्तभ्यां नमः।
Tumi Brahmo Ramo Krishna, Tumi Vishnu, Tumi Ram, Tumi Brahmo Ramo Krishna, Tumi Vishnu, Tumi Ram, Tumi Vishnu, Tumi Vishnu, Ramo Vishnu, Rama Tumi Brahmo Ramo Vishnu, Tumi Krishna, Tumi Ram, Tumi Adi Adharo, Tumi Brahmo Nirakaro, Tumi Adi Adharo, Tumi Brahmo Nirakaro, Tumi Naro Trubodharo, Vinito Gano Gopal, Tumi Brahmo Ramo Krishna, Tumi Krishna, Tumi Ram, Tumi Brahmo Ramo Krishna, Tumi Krishna, Tumi Ram. Pavaro Corona Sindhu, Tumi Devo Dino Bondhu. Pavaro Corona Sindhu, Tumi Devo Dino Bondhu. Nacendu Kripavindu Narune Kori Pranam, Tumi Brahmo Ramo Krishna, Tumi Krishna, Tumi Ram, Tumi Brahmo Ramo Krishna, Tumi Krishna, Tumi Ram.
शक्तिये नमः। कमंडलाय द्वादशकलात्मने नमः। ह्रीं 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 ओम नित्यगंधक्षोणसमूढदशोषकलात्मने नमः। ओम वेदगन्धपुष्पे श्रीरामकृष्णदेवस्य देवताभ्यो नमः। श्रीरामकृष्णदेव यहागच्छ योतिष्ठ ये सन्निधि सन्निधस्व ये समुख्य भवन्ताधिष्ठानं कुर्मः पूजां गृहाणाम्। ओम ऐमिदं सर्वदेव देवी स्वरूपाय श्रीरामकृष्णाय नमः। मंगुष्टाभ्यं नमः रामतर्जिभ्यं स्वाहा मम मधुमाभ्यं वषडक्रम मनामिकाभ्यं ओम शं कृष्णकाभ्यं बहुषट ऐं रामकृष्णकल्पपुष्टाभ्यं अस्त्राय पटे ऐं हृदयाय नमः रामशिरसे स्वाहा मम शिखाय वषडक्रम कवचाय ओम शं नेत्राभ्यं बहुषट ऐं रामकृष्णकल्पपुष्टाभ्यं अस्त्राय पटे। ओम हृदय कमल मध्ये राजितं निर्विकल्पं सदसदखिल वेदातीतमेकस्वरूपं प्रकृति विकृति शून्यं नित्यमानन्दमूर्तिं विमल परमहंसं रामकृष्णं भजामः। निरुपममति सूक्ष्मं निष्प्रपञ्चं निरीहं गगनसदृशमीशं सर्वभूतादिवासं त्रिगुणरहित सच्चित् ब्रह्मरूपं वरेण्यं विमल परमहंसं रामकृष्णं भजामः। वितरितुमवतीर्णं ज्ञानभक्तिप्रशान्तिः प्रणयगलितचित्तं जीवदुःखासहिष्णुं कृतसहजसमाधिं चिन्मयं कोमलाङ्गं विमलपरमहंसं रामकृष्णं भजामः। ओम ऐमेतत्वाद्यं सर्वदेवदेवी स्वरूपाय श्रीरामकृष्णाय नमः। ओम ऐमेषो अर्घ्यः सर्वदेवदेवी स्वरूपाय श्रीरामकृष्णाय स्वाहा। ओम ऐमिदम् आचमनीयोदकं सर्वदेवदेवी स्वरूपाय श्रीरामकृष्णाय नमः। ओम ऐमिदं स्नानयोदकं सर्वदेवदेवी स्वरूपाय श्रीरामकृष्णाय नमः। ओम सरस्वती विशालपुरुषः सहस्राक्षरसहस्रपातभूमिं विश्वतो रुत्वा अत्यतिष्ठदशाङ्गुलं पुरुषे वेदनं सर्वं यद्भूतं यच्चभव्यं सुतामृतत्वस्तेषामः यदन्नेनातिरोहति। ओम अग्निमीळे पुरोहितं यज्ञस्य देवमुत्सृजं होतारं रत्नदातमं सोमेशेतो देता वायवस्तो देववसविता प्राप्यता शेषतमया कर्मिणे। ओम अग्नः येवितयो गृहाणो विदाते निहोतपुस्तपदिति ओम शन्योरदेवी शबीति आपो भवन्तु वितये शयोस्तवन् पुनः। ओम रामकृष्णाय विद्महे गदाधराय धीमहि तन्नो देवः प्रचोदयात्। ओम ऐमिदं स्नानयोदकं सर्वदेवदेवी स्वरूपाय श्रीरामकृष्णाय नमः। ओम ऐमेष गन्धः सर्वदेवदेवी स्वरूपाय श्रीरामकृष्णाय नमः। ओम ऐमेष इदं पुष्पं सर्वदेवदेवी स्वरूपाय श्रीरामकृष्णाय नमः। ओम ऐमेष सर्वदेवदेवी स्वरूपाय श्रीरामकृष्णाय नमः। ओम ओम ऐश्वरी सर्वदेवदेवी स्वरूपाय श्रीरामकृष्णाय नमः। ओम रामकृष्णाय विद्महे गदाधराय धीमहि तन्नो देवः प्रचोदयात्। ओम सरस्वतीं देवं विश्वासं विश्वतंभुवं विश्वं नारायणं देवमक्षरं परमं पदं विश्वतः परमा नित्यं विश्वं नारायणं हरिं विश्वमेवेदं पुरुषस्तः विश्वमुपदेवते पतिं विश्वस्यात्मैकपदं शाश्वतं शिवमच्युतं नारायणं महाज्ञेयं विश्वात्मनं परायणम्। ओम ऐश्वरी सर्वदेवदेवी स्वरूपाय श्रीरामकृष्णाय नमः। ओम तस्मै सोपकर्ण नैवेद्यं नमः। तस्मै सोपकर्ण नैवेद्यं नमः। तस्मै सोपकर्ण नैवेद्याय नमः। ओम एते गन्धपुष्पे सोपकर्णान्न नैवेद्याय नमः। ओम एते गन्धपुष्पे एतदधिपते देवाय श्रीविष्णवे नमः। ओम एते गन्धपुष्पे एतत् सम्प्रदानाय सर्वदेवदेवी स्वरूपाय श्रीरामकृष्णाय नमः। फट् ओम यं लं वं ओम नैवेद्यं विविधं देव शर्करादिनिर्मितं मया निवेदितं भक्त्या गृहाण परमेश्वर। ओम ऐमिदं स्वपकर्ण अन्न नैवेद्यं सर्वदेवदेवी स्वरूपाय श्रीरामकृष्ण निवेदयामि। ओम अमृतोपकर्णमस्य स्वाहा। ओम प्राणाय स्वाहा। ओम अपानाय स्वाहा। ओम व्यानाय स्वाहा। ओम उदानाय स्वाहा। ओम समानाय स्वाहा।
We'll sing now hymn 25, page number 30. Jaya Jaya Janani. Jaya Jaya Janani, Jaya Sri Shantivratananda Karunarupini Jaya Ma. Jaya Jaya Janani, Jaya Sri Shantivratananda Karunarupini Jaya Ma. Adya Shakti Parama Prakriti, Adya Shakti Parama Prakriti,
स्वरूपाय श्री रामकृष्णाय नमः। ओम ऐमीक्षं तांबूलं सर्वदेव देवी स्वरूपाय श्री रामकृष्णाय नमः। ओम ऐमीक्षं पुष्पदुल्ल पत्रांजलिः सर्वदेव देवी स्वरूपाय श्री रामकृष्णाय नमः। ओम एते गंधपुष्पे श्री रामकृष्ण देवस्य अंगदेवताभ्यो नमः। ओम एते गंधपुष्पे श्री रामकृष्ण आवरणदेवस्य श्री रामकृष्ण आवरणदेवताभ्यो नमः। ओम गुह्यादिगुह्यगोप्तत्वं गुरुहणस्तोत्रं जपं सिद्धिर्भवतु मे देवेश तत्प्रसादात् मयि स्थिराम्। ओम स्थापकाय च धर्मस्य सर्वधर्मस्वरूपिणे भवतारवरिष्ठाय रामकृष्णाय ते नमः। ओम रामं कृष्णाभ्यं नमः हरिं हरिभ्यं नमः। ओम मन्माभ्यं विषडाय मनामिकाधरं कर्षिताभ्यं वंशटं जः कर्दं तुष्टाभ्यं अस्त्राशटं राम हृदय नमः हरिं श्री स्वाहा ओम शिवाय विषडाय कवचाय ओम रोम नेत्राभ्यं वंशटं।
You will sing hymn 23,
ओम सर्वदेव
page number
देवी
28.
शारदा
Jaya
देवी
Vineshwar.
नमः। ओम सर्वदेव देवी स्वरूपिणी श्री शारदा देवी नमः। ओम सर्वदेव देवी स्वरूपिणी श्री शारदा देवी नमः। ओम त्यागे चित्त सरोवरस्तां सुखासिनीं कृपामयीं प्रसन्नवरदां देवीं द्विविधां स्थिरलोचनां आलोलायित केशार्थ वक्षस्थलविमण्डितां
जय वीरेश्वर विवेक भास्कर जय जय श्री विवेकानंद। जय वीरेश्वर विवेक भास्कर जय जय श्री विवेकानंद। हिंदु निभानन सुंदर लोचन हिंदु निभानन सुंदर लोचन विश्वमानव चिरवन्द्य। जय वीरेश्वर विवेक भास्कर जय जय श्री विवेकानंद। प्रेम जल जल कांति सुविमल प्रेम जल जल कांति सुविमल अधिगत वेद विधान। जागति दीक्षा तपस्य उज्ज्वल जागति दीक्षा तपस्य उज्ज्वल देश निर्मल शांत। जय वीरेश्वर विवेक भास्कर जय जय श्री विवेकानंद। धर्म भक्ति ज्ञान त्रिशूल धारण धर्म भक्ति ज्ञान त्रिशूल धारण वेदन जीव मोहगान्ध। ब्रह्मपरायण नमो नारायण ब्रह्मपरायण नमो नारायण देहि देहि चरणारविन्द। जय वीरेश्वर विवेक भास्कर जय जय श्री विवेकानंद। हिंदु निभानन सुंदर लोचन हिंदु निभानन सुंदर लोचन विश्वमानव चिरवन्द्य। जय वीरेश्वर विवेक भास्कर जय जय श्री विवेकानंद।
श्रीमद् विवेकानंदाय नमः। ओम विश्वाचार्यं जगद्वन्द्यं विवेकानन्दरूपिणं वीरेश्वरात् समुत्पन्नं सप्तर्षि मण्डलागतं दानभक्तिश्वदाधारं पद्माक्षं गौरविग्रहं ध्यायेदेवं ज्योतिपुञ्जं लोककल्याणकारिणम् ओम ऐं मेषगन्धः श्रीमद्विवेकानन्दाय नमः। ओम ऐं इदं सचन्द्रपुष्पं श्रीमद्विवेकानन्दाय नमः। ओम ऐं मेषदूतः श्रीमद्विवेकानन्दाय नमः। ओम विवेकानन्दाय विद्महे नरेन्द्राय धीमहि तन्नो देवः प्रचोदयात्। ओम ऐं मेषदूतः श्रीमद्विवेकानन्दाय नमः। ओम विवेकानन्दाय विद्महे नरेन्द्राय धीमहि तन्नो देवः प्रचोदयात्। ओम ऐं इदं स्वप्ननैवेद्यं श्रीमद्विवेकानन्दाय नमः। ओम ऐं इदं अचम्योदकं श्रीमद्विवेकानन्दाय नमः। ओम ऐं इदं पुराचम्योदकं श्रीमद्विवेकानन्दाय नमः। ओम ऐं मेषचन्द्रपुष्पाञ्जलिः श्रीमद्विवेकानन्दाय नमः। ओम नमः श्रीयतिराजाय विवेकानन्दसूरये सच्चित्सुखस्वरूपाय स्वामिनेतापहरिणे ओम ऐं एष ओम ऐं इदं सचन्द्रपुष्पं सर्वदेवदेवी स्वरूपाय श्रीरामकृष्णाय नमः। ओम ऐं मेषसजनपुष्पबिल्वपत्राञ्जलिः सांगाय सावर्णाय सशक्तिकाय सपार्षदाय सर्वदेवदेवी स्वरूपाय श्रीरामकृष्णाय नमः। ओम ऐं मेषसचन्द्रपुष्पबिल्वपत्राञ्जलिः सांगाय सावर्णाय सशक्तिकाय सपार्षदाय सर्वदेवदेवी स्वरूपाय श्रीरामकृष्णाय नमः। ओम ऐं मेषसचन्द्रपुष्पबिल्वपत्राञ्जलिः सांगाय सावर्णाय सशक्तिकाय सपार्षदाय सर्वदेवदेवी स्वरूपाय श्रीरामकृष्णाय नमः। एतत् कर्मफलं श्रीरामकृष्णार्पणमस्तु। एतां पुण्डरीकाक्षः सर्वयज्ञेश्वरो हरिः तस्मिन् तुष्टे जगत्तुष्टं प्रीणिते प्रीणितं जगत्। ॐ ह्रीं क्लीं सर्वशान्तिकरो भव। ॐ विधिहीनं क्रियाहीनं मन्त्रहीनं यदर्चितं मया निवेदितं भक्त्या परिपूर्णं तदस्तु मे। कर्मणा मनसा वाचा वक्तो नान्यगतिर्मम अन्तश्चारेण भूतानां द्रष्टात्वं परमेश्वर। ॐ निरञ्जनं नित्यमनन्तरूपं भक्तानुकम्पाविग्रहं वै ईशावतारं परमेशमीड्यं तं रामकृष्णं शिरसा नमामि।
We now have chanting, Narayan Suktam chanting by Advait.
ॐ Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shantihi. Om Sahasrasirasham Devam Vishwaksham Vishwashambhuvam Vishwam Narayanam Devam Aksharam Paramam Padam Vishwatah Paraman Nityam Vishwam Narayanam Harim Vishwamevedam Purushastad Vishwamupajivati Patim Vishwasyatmeshwaragum Shashvatagum Shivamachyutam Narayanam Mahagneyam Vishwatmanam Parayanam Narayana Paro Jyotiratma Narayanah Paraha Narayana Param Brahma Tattvan Narayanah Paraha Narayana Paro Dhyata Dhyanam Narayanah Paraha Yaccha Kinjit Jagat Sarvam Drishyate Shruyate Piva Antarbahishya Tat Sarvam Vyapya Narayana Sthitaha Anantamavyayam Kavigum Samudrentam Vishwashambhuvam Padmakosha Pratikashagum Hridayanchapyadhomukam अधो निष्ट्यावितस्त्यान्ते नाभ्यामुपरितिष्ठति ज्वालमालाकुलं भाति विश्वस्यायतनं महत् सन्ततगुं शिलाभिस्तुलं भक्त्याकोशसन्निभं तस्यान्ते सुशिरगुं सूक्ष्मं तस्मिन् सर्वं प्रतिष्ठितं तस्य मध्ये महानग्निर्विश्वार्चिर्विश्वतोमुखः सोऽग्रभुग्विभजन् तिष्ठन्नाहारमजरः कविः तिर्यगूर्ध्वमदशायी रश्मैकस्तस्य सन्तता सन्तापयति स्वं देहमापादतलमस्तकः तस्य मध्ये वह्निशिखा अणीयोर्ध्वा व्यवस्थितः नीलतो यदमध्यस्ताद्विद्युल्लेके वभास्वरा नीवारशूकवत्तन्वी पीताभा आस्वत्यनुपमा तस्या शिखाया मध्ये परमात्मा व्यवस्थितः स ब्रह्मः स शिवः स हरिः सेन्द्रः सोऽक्षरः परमस्वराट् ऋतगुं सत्यं परं ब्रह्म पुरुषं कृष्णपिङ्गलम् ऊर्ध्वरेतं विरूपाक्षं विश्वरूपाय वै नमो नमः ॐ नारायणाय विद्महे वासुदेवाय धीमहि तन्नो विष्णुः प्रचोदयात् ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः.
Thank you, Advait. That was wonderful. A beautiful start. To start off our events for today, we now have Swami Purnanandaji coming over to give us a small welcome and an introduction to today's talk.
Om Stapakaya Chatarmasya Sarvadharma Swarupine Avatara Varishtaya Ramakrishnaya Te Namaha. O Ramakrishna, establisher of universal religion, embodiment of all religions, to the noblest of divine incarnations, we offer our salutations. Om Jananim Sharadam Devim Ramakrishnam Jagadgurum Pada Padme Tayo Sritva Pranamami Moho. Taking shelter at the holy feet of Sharada Devi, who is the universal mother, and Sri Ramakrishna, teacher of the world, we salute them again and again and again. Om Namah Shri Yatirajaya Vivekananda Suraye Sachit Sukha Swarupaya Swamine Tapaharine. Our salutations to that regal entity, that king of renouncers, controller of passions, that great Rishi Vivekananda, who is also Satchidananda, existence, knowledge and bliss absolute, spiritual preceptor, remover of distress, our salutations. Om Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Deva Maheshwara Guru Deva Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. The Guru is Brahma, Guru is Vishnu, Guru is the Lord Shiva. Guru is truly the Supreme Brahman. Our salutations to that Guru. Very warm welcome to all of you. Kade Milaha Foila Taro Rot. 100,000 welcomes to you. So it is my job to welcome you all, both online and here present, and to welcome a number of things. Of course, it is all our sentiment, not only to welcome you all, but to welcome our new Swami, Swami Shantivratananda, and a sad farewell, of course, to our Swami Vimokshananda. It is very nice to see so many people come here to express their sentiments. And we welcome one other thing. We welcome change. It seems change is inevitable, but without change, there is no growth. And without growth, there's no change. And so this is a new phase that we are entering into. I remember when we started this process off some years ago, with a small handful of sincere devotees who were prepared to study the Vedanta philosophy without changing any religion or changing any of their cultural ideas, identities. They embraced the universal message of the Vedanta. And it is for this that we are founded. And I'm glad to see all the changes that took place. All the changes from a small handful, a band of pioneers, to what we have here now, and no doubt it will grow even more and more and more. And so with that, we have part of the foundation of what we have here was our revered Swami Vimokshananda, who contributed so wonderfully. We'll say more about that later. And so we now have a new phase, which I personally welcome, and I hope all of you will welcome. A kind of more youthful, dynamic aspect. So we can put all the fossils aside, including this one. So this is a welcome, and the program as such, therefore, is like this. We have a few introductory talks from our trustees. We have two trustees here present, Basil Conroy and Paul Hipwell. I can't see Paul anywhere, but no doubt he's around somewhere. And then we have some various talks from devotees. And then we have naturally some talks from our departing Swami, Swami Vimokshananda, a talk from our incoming Swami, Swami Shantivratananda, and unfortunately from me as well. And then that seems to be the program. We finish off with Arti. And of course, none of you here for the food, but we do have food also. So without any further ado, let's go on to the next item then, where Rai will introduce Basil.
Gordon Mahagot Swami. So he asked me to say a few words in Irish here and there where possible. Dia Yeva Gwina Usal agus a Carja, agus Falterov Gudi Shock Nevadizan, Ermagin and Shin. This is a bittersweet occasion. We're welcoming and saying goodbye. So there's mixed emotions, obviously. I want to begin with, first of all, saying Slán Lat to our very esteemed Swami Ji, who has been a magnificent member of the Earl Vedanta Society. So, Tá Broner McCree, a chor Slán Koji Swami Vimokshananda. In English, there's great sorrow saying goodbye to our esteemed Swami, who was a magnificent member of the society, and his talks were always so enlightened and so full of love, and everybody who heard him speak always felt uplifted. And I, for one, it's been a pleasure knowing Swami. I probably didn't interact with him as much as some others in the society, but he certainly was a great Swami. He's here for 3 years, and he's on his way back to India. We want to wish him all the best. It was very unfortunate that he met with an accident a number of months ago, and he had a fall, and he ended up in hospital. And unfortunately, he lost weight, and his health wasn't the better after it. But you can't keep a good man down. So I just want to say, so I want to just say, if you can all just give a round of applause for Swami Vimokshananda. So coming to the second part of my brief talk, Tá áthas mór McCree, there's great joy in my heart. A chur fáilte rót go dtí Swami Shantivratananda. Hope I got the Shanti names right. I've been practicing. But I know Vimokshananda rolls off the tongue. The other one I have to get used to. I believe this is his first time outside of India, and I was fortunate enough to be at the airport when he arrived to bid Céad Míle Fáilte as Gaeilge to our new minister in charge, I think is their official title. I think we have a good man here in that I understand he has a doctorate in philosophy, and obviously a very learned man, and no doubt will impart his knowledge to us. And he's got tough shoes to fill, Swami Vimokshananda, but I've no doubt he has the wherewithal and the commitment to do just that. In fact, last Tuesday, I had the pleasure of being served up a meal by Swami Shantivratananda, and he gave me what I call pancakes. I can't remember the Bengali phrase for it, but they were Oscail Gartoshe Bia Gomilish. Nice food. So if he's as good a Swami as he is a cook, I think we're in for a treat. So certainly Swami Purnananda mentioned about age giving way to youth, that there's younger people joining the society and bringing that enthusiasm to the society. That's mirrored in our new Swami, who's considerably younger than the outgoing Swami. So I think there's a great future for the Earl Vedanta Society. Swami Shantivratananda is with us for 3 years, and hopefully after that time we will extend his visa for a further 3 years. So we're hoping that he'll be with us for all of 6 years. So that is the plan. So that's really all. As a trustee in the Earl Vedanta Society, of which I'm very proud, fell to me to say the Slán Aguit agus Céad Míle Fáilte to Swamis. So I'm sure you've heard enough of me at this stage, and I hand it over to the next speaker with okay, Sinna Willa Nish Goléir agus Slán go Fóil a Córdia. Gurv Mahagut.
Thank you, Basil. That was absolutely brilliant, wonderful. And thank you also for adding to our Irish vocab. Don't know how much we'll remember, but we'll try. I'm not too sure whether is Paul joining us on Zoom or is Paul Paul Hipwell, are you joining us online on Zoom or I don't think so. Right.
It's coming outside now.
Oh,
It's just walking.
all right, okay. So
You won't have much time to prepare it.
well, I'd say while we are waiting for Paul to join us, I would like to invite Juma to have a small, share her memories.
Thank you, Rai. Well, as Basil said, it's a bittersweet. Yeah, so yeah, with the new Swami, we have a lot of time. We'll be there. So I'm looking forward to that, definitely. But the bitter part is hard, I know. But yeah, as I was thinking what I will write, and out came tumbling a few words, which I tried to, kind of knit them into a string called a poem, and which I've named it Farewell Song. And I would like to lay that at your feet. Sorry. I know not how to begin. I know not what to say. A task impossible for a novice. The spiritual way. You extended your hand. You showed me the way, instilling confidence day after day. Welcoming with arms open and wide, embracing with words ever gentle and kind. In you, O Maharaj, the love of God I find. The nectar of bliss with you around, the divine joy that I have found. Feelings immortal that time can't steal, expressions of mine I doth reveal. Laying the foundation of love, cementing the bond, devotees sailing happily in the Ayurvedanta pond. For you have sowed the seeds with patience infinite, knowledge bright, and compassion ever in sight. Now that time has come to say goodbye, we devotees can say with reverence and pride, this mansion of mirth shall echo your love, treading your path with determination tough. Each time the wave of emotion swells high, I think of the ocean beneath and wonder with a sigh. Thanking the Lord for blessing me so, Maharaj, you shall remain in my heart, for time can't take that away though. Eternally yours in service, Juma. Namaste to all.
Thank you, Juma. That was very, very touching, very moving, and I'm sure we will have many, as rightfully pointed out by Basil and Juma, bittersweet memories and as we go along. I now invite Paul Hipwell, one of the trustees of Ayurvedanta Society, to say a few words. Over to you, Paul.
Make the sound. How should we? Max.
Just to share a little memory very briefly. One of my first meetings or interactions with Maharaj was at one of our celebrations. Maybe it was the anniversary and I was in the car park or something, and Maharaj was apparently walking around looking for me and had sent Deepak looking for me as well, and it was really just to make sure that I was going to come in for the food. Now, anybody who knows me and my relationship with food will quickly understand that that made us instant friends. But it was the sign of his kindness, his discreet kindness, sincere and gentle kindness, and genuine care for our well-being. And I think we'll miss that. In fact, I'm absolutely sure we'll miss that, maybe more than we realize now. And your wonderful sense of humor. And I know, Swami P, you'll miss the banter. And we'll miss the banter and the evening suppers sometimes. But we wish you the very, very best, Maharaj. We wish you the very, very best. And always remember that there's a special place, a very, very special place in our hearts for you. And Swami Shantivratananda, Cave Mila Falcha, 1,000 welcomes to you. And we look forward to helping you and look forward to serving you and helping you serve others. Amen.
Thank you, Paul. That was wonderful. And carrying on in the same trend, we would now have many of our devotees here and also across on Zoom presenting their memories and sharing their thoughts today. So carrying on there, we now have Brian. Over to you, Brian.
So good morning, it's still morning. So my name is Brian. Unfortunately, there are two Brians here. And I realized 3 years ago that Swami V used to refer to me as Fat Brian because he couldn't tell the difference. Many of us Irish people look the same to him. So he actually confessed that to me. I have to speak with Swami P when I heard it because I was devastated. I thought Fat Brian was the other Brian, but it was me. Anyway, so I asked him and he said, no, they wouldn't call me that anymore. They just use my code name. This is my code name. Sorry, this is my code name. So, double extra large. So, when I think back, a memory came to me. I wasn't always large or roundy in the middle, as I call it. I used to be a skinny boy. And I saw a photograph of myself when I was 11. And that was 50 years ago. And I was dressed in short trousers, plastic sandals, and a short Hawaiian-looking t-shirt. And I wanted to wear long trousers. And I didn't realize 50 years ago that at that same time, a young, slim man, tall, of age 24, also wanted to change his attire. And he walked in to a Ramakrishna order and started his journey to end up wearing orange. And I'm very grateful and feel blessed that that Swami took that journey. Because when he came into my life 3 years ago, it was an immense blessing for me. As I sat in that chair and looked across, I saw 3 Swamis. And without knowing the incoming Swami really, I'm grateful that 3 men, young men, dedicate their life, because I know it impacts me already and impacts this community. I've come to know Swami Vimokshananda, I would say very well, very close. I don't know when it happened. Over time, something happened. And I realized that my interaction with you, Swami, was sometimes like a father role, like a mother role, like a brother or sibling. And that interaction as we sat driving or taking photographs on our journeys, on our experience along the west coast of Ireland or to Glendalough. Something transpired. I used to use a word lucky about things years ago. And somebody said to me, I should interchange the word blessed. So I felt lucky to have driven you or to be with you, lucky to go on our journey. But I realized I was being blessed. Now I'm saying this as my journey. Many people will feel the same, I've no doubt. So I realized I was blessed in those interactions with you. But I also experienced you as a friend, and that might seem irreverent to see a Swami in that way, but that was my experience also. So I experienced you also in those interactions as a friendship, which became a dear friendship, which moved on to become a dear, dear friendship. And I feel blessed to have experienced that in that way. The Céad Míle Fáilte is 1,000 welcomes, and I hope you experience that as an incoming Swami. I hope you feel it from the whole community, from the Irish community and from your Indian community, and that as that blends, that you experience that as a whole. There's an expression, an old Irish expression that translates of his hand. Oh, God will hold you closer, and is closer than that alone. But that's the Irish, very famous, parting phrase. So finally, I was listening this morning to my guided meditation from Swami Purnananda, and it included the words that we are dear, we are precious, and who radiates divine love, that this is what is in our life. And then I realized that's what you, Swami Vimokshananda, that's how I've experienced you, that you have become, and I aspire to be, dear and precious, and someone who radiates divine love. That's how I've experienced you. So I don't feel sad in many ways about your leaving, Swami. You came, we come and we go, and you've left other communities, and you will go to a community. So there's exchanges all the way through. I had this idea that if you had a container of water and added dye into it, it's very hard to remove that dye. And that's what I've experienced with you in my life, that something has changed within me and it can't be removed. You may leave, but the impact of you on my life is profound. So I've had, some people may know my journey in the last number of years, but your presence in that journey has had a profound blessing on my life, and I cherish it. I cherish it dearly. And if I can reverently say to you, dear, dear friend, I wish you well in your onward journey. Thank you.
That was absolutely wonderful, Brian. Very, very moving, very touching, and I think I can speak for everybody here when I say it probably resonated with many of our own individual journeys as well. Moving on to our next devotee, we have Vishwajit Basu, who would share a few words.
So, revered Swamijis and devotees and friends, I really feel humbled to be given this opportunity to show my reverence to Swami Vimokshananda ji in this graceful occasion. Swamiji came here only 3 years back, but I feel that I have been connected to him for a very long time. Indeed, a very emotional day. He will be remembered by devotees here in Dublin, as he's actually remembered by devotees worldwide, wherever he has been and spread the messages of Thakur, Srima, and Swamiji. We will miss him, and parting is indeed sad, but the messages he brought us from Thakur, Sri Srima, and Swamiji will be at the core of our hearts. On a more personal note, definitely I'll also miss the muri and the tea and coffee following the Saturday and Sunday classes here. Of course, his departure from Dublin is marked with another event of arrival of Swami Shantivratananda ji, and the Ramakrishna movement goes on. So he has been here only for a few days, a very short stint of a few days, but he has brought in a sense of dynamism, I feel, and has already won the heart of the devotees here. And if Swami Vimokshananda ji brought us the message of love and affection from Sri Sri Ma, then Swami Shantivratananda ji has brought in the message of inspiration from Swamiji and reminds us of the work yet to be done. So with these few words, Jai Shri Krishna.
Thank you, Vishwajit. Our next speaker is out on Zoom, and we have Brian O'Halloran for the next talk here. Good morning, Brian. Can you hear us?
Can you hear me?
Yep, over to you, Brian.
Okay, you can hear me?
Yep, can hear you, Brian. Over to you.
Thank you. Good morning, pranams, swamis, and greetings to all devotees and all present. Swami Vimokshananda, it is with great sadness that I cannot be there today. I really would love to be there with you today. However, I am waiting results of a COVID test, so I've decided to isolate myself. My mother asked me about the community in the ashram the other day, and I was explaining to her that there were 3 swamis. And she asked me, and I was explaining about Swami Vimokshananda. And any Irish person listening will understand when I said to her, he's a real gentleman. And that is an Irish way of describing a man of your nature. Kind, gentle, and dignified. And yet behind it, there's a strength of character that shows in your choice to come to Ireland in your later years of your life. Your urge in the beginning to learn the Irish language and to integrate into our culture was admirable. And I'm sure it wasn't easy to get used to us. We can be a little bit unruly and a little bit wild and ragged around the edges at times. But that indeed is our nature. You were always kind and welcoming and always encouraged participation and Irish music and Irish singing and song in the Arti and in the various celebrations that took place. And for that, I personally am hugely grateful to you. You will be sincerely and sorely missed for your contributions, for your wonderful talks, and for your inspirations. Personally, for the times and the moments I had doing little jobs in your room for you, or working on Ma Kali's picture, even clipping your toenails, I shall always, always hold you dearly in my heart. Thank you. Swami Shantivratananda, Cade Mila Foilta Road, and you have big shoes to fill. We have a saying in Irish which is Ní nart go curlichele, no strength until working together, or no strength until unity. We have a wonderful community in Era Vedanta Society. And what does Era mean? Era is one of the mystical goddesses of the Trinity of goddesses that represented the fundamental characteristics of this land, and roughly and crudely could be translated to mean land of abundance. I personally believe that there is an abundance of spirituality that resonates in the land from the heritage of the great saints and sadhus who walked this land a long time before. That energy resonates and resonates in the Irish people, many of whom have a deep hunger and a yearning for the day-to-day cultural life that we live today does not satisfy that urge, that need, that indeed emptiness. Many of us Irish devotees have had to travel around the world looking for something, only to find ourselves back in Dublin, to find ourselves embraced by a true, authentic, spiritual teaching that is Vedanta in Era Vedanta Society and Ramakrishna Mission. Ra De Eran Ober, God's blessing and protection, Swami Shantivratananda, on your work. Swami Vimokshananda, Ganairi and Boharlat, may the road rise before you. Kumeangui Shasta, may the wind always be behind you. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om Shiachan, Shiachan, Shiachan. Peace, peace, peace be unto all. Thank you all.
Thank you, Brian. That was absolutely wonderful. Very, very touching, very emotional, and wishing you the very best and good health over to you from all of us here. Well, moving on to our next speaker who is here from amongst us, we have Gangotri.
Pranam Maharaj, yes. I know the day the whole thing was being described, like narrated, like what will be done. So Purnanandaji asked me, do you want to say something? And I did say that I'll become emotional. Okay. I have. told you I will. I'm today I know like where my son got. I remember a small incident when I was taking him to the school and he said, I don't want to go to school. If you take me to school, I will cry. And I said, no, I will take you to school. And he cried. So now I know where he got it from. So I told that day I will be emotional. I have become. But all thing apart, I know when Juma and Malvika said, don't think as a farewell. Think it's a special occasion. The thoughts will always be there, always be cherished. Physically, maybe Maharaji might not be, maybe in a different country, but his thoughts, his blessings, his love, everything will be there. And the small events which I've come across, especially some of the time when I know there was a time like COVID time, everything was shut down, everything was closed. But in that time, even I think I've come more close to Swamiji's, because otherwise I would be driving back to my office, would be going. But due to COVID, I used to work from home and I used to get the time to come during the lunchtime. And that was the best time I found with all the Swamijis. The small banters, as Paul has pointed out. But one thing I really want to know now, Swamiji, do you like coconut milk? Because Swami Vimokshananda used to say he doesn't like coconut milk, don't put it. And I used to think, I've already done it. And Swamiji used to say, no, I love it. So you have to tell me today, because I don't know how many days I would be able to come here again. But all these things, I will just cherish all these things. I used to tell everybody knows that when I used to drive back from here, the blissfulness, the happiness I used to feel, I cannot tell. I used to come with ruffled hair, like so tired. Swami, I'm so tired. I'm working so hard. And by the time I used to go back, I used to feel so blissful. I used to feel so peace at my heart. So I know I will always get that. But the memories will always be there with me. And I don't think I will be able to continue anymore, because all the blessings we got from you and Swamiji's is great. And as I said, the memories will definitely be cherished. And we also welcome our new Swamiji. And I did get not a huge time to interact, but Swamiji, a heartfelt welcome to this our place. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Gangotri. That was really wonderful. Anybody who knows Gangotri knows her passion for food, and I'm not surprised that she had to end her conversation on that note. We would now move on to our next speaker, who is Patty.
Are you sure?
We are up for it, Patty. Bring it on.
They managed to keep me away from stage.
Oh, might as well. Might as well.
Good to see you all. I'll be your entertainment for the next few minutes, you know. Anything you have to say after this will be really easy, because I always muck up, you know. No, I have to say, I was really moved to hear the devotees, how they spoke about you. Myself and Swami Purnanda started couch surfing some number of years ago, because we had nowhere to go, and we would drive all over the country and stuff like that. And it was his passion to give the master's message. There was nothing that stopped him, nothing at all. And we had no premises, we'd drive in the middle of the night down the country for one devotee. And to think that it has that expression of the master has had this profound effect on so many people, just, here's me getting emotional now as well. I tend to get emotional, as you know, anyway, but it's just all the master's blessing in its fullest. Many of these devotees, I know them, I kind of mess around a lot, but I keep an eye on most of them when we're here. My job is to feed them and keep them out of trouble. I tend to get them in trouble, but that was it. To see how they've grown by just being beside you, all of you, like, and to think there's three spiritual giants sitting in front of us is nothing other than just the Master's grace. Me, not a great learner, can't read. I promise every time that I'm asked to speak that I'll write something down. And I wrote something down outside. Somebody was kind enough. It was to remember your names, because I can't pronounce it. But, you know, as a householder, which we all are, sometimes you can separate yourself and say, that's okay for the masters, or that's okay for them. Maybe come to an event and then go back and be a householder. The desire is not to do that at all. It's to realize that we're blessed to have you in our lives. I know by listening to them, I was moved so much by Brian's speech, by all of your speeches. That's the effect you have had on us. Me, didn't get much of a chance to spend time with you, but when you arrived, one look was enough. I thought, oh my God, there's 100,000 lifetimes gone. Just for a look, just a glance. And now in saying that, I have millions of lifetimes to sort out, because I haven't exactly been the best devotee under the sun. But if anything, I said, how do you honor a Swami? I mean, how do you pay reverence to a Swami? And for us as householders, and I'm certainly qualified to speak as a householder, I couldn't be here for the last, I think, 5 or 6 years. One of my parents died, the other one now, I don't mean this in a sympathy sort of thing, but I know householding. I know raising children. I know business difficulties. I know your mortgage going into arrears. I know what being a householder is. But if you want to pay reverence to these great men, you think, hold on a second, here is the answer. Even their names reflect enlightenment. That's what the Master wanted for us all. That's why Swami Purnanda, day and night, 3 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning, he'd be thinking about Jews. Are my devotees okay? Like the passion that these men have for you is huge. But if you want to respect them or pay reverence to them, it's lovely, the ceremony, and it's lovely the bits and pieces, but it's their desire is to inspire in you the passion for truth. And we do not have to go to India. We don't have to go anywhere. We do very little. In my case, a look from this man, and Brian very eloquently said it, just sitting in the car beside him, driving around the country, has an effect on you. I've been separated from my own Swami for maybe 5 or 6 years. Every day he thinks about you. Even annoying him, which I do very well, is a blessing, because you're in their mind. But if you truly want to respect them, you say, what is it that keeps me from here? Why are we not at their feet saying, answer the question? When we started first, there wasn't this structure. We tormented the Swamis. The questions we asked them, what about this? What about that? Now, I don't mean just spirituality. How do I live my life? How do I get through this problem? And there was nothing, and is nothing, that will not be answered. So for us, you've got to say, if I want to pay reverence to the Swamis, which really, the Swamis are an expression of the Master. There is only one truth. They all say that. They all say, thou art that. And they are an expression. They are the highest form of expression that you will come across of the Master's teaching. You don't have to even listen to them or what they like. Just being in their presence is enough. So we've got to say, why are we not here more often? Now, that man, Swami Purnanda's passion, nothing would stop. Vivekananda was just a horse of a man. Nivedita, our own sister, would not take no for an answer. Swami Purnanda, the same. Here we are, you know, from a couch in somebody's house, who was going, what's this Bhagavad Gita thing? Really, because it was so alien to us Irish. It was, I mean, really, because we're very isolated. And up until very recently, actually, I told somebody last night of a date I had when I was younger. I went to my Debs, and the girl I brought to my Debs, we went on the bus, and I looked at her, and her jaw was dropped. Oh my God, it was the first time she actually saw a foreign person, was at 17 years of age, on a bus. That's how isolated we were. Yet the master chose, no, I've come to you. And we now have an era of Vedanta society in Ireland. As somebody beautifully said, and how blessed we are. But to honour them, we must light that piece inside us that says, no, I will have this. Nothing will stop you. I remember I used to say, tell me this, Swami, tell me this. And he'd spend hours explaining it. He said, now have you got it? And I go, no. And he'd do it again and again and again and again and again. Where would you get that? And it's right in front of us here. It's right here beside us. And the greatest honour you could pay them is to come, to listen to do the classes. Even as I did for many years serving food, I'd be out the back having a smoke serving food. That is enough, just being in their very presence. And to me, to honour them, if one of us wakes that little bit more, and I hear by the passionate speeches you have given, I mean, I'm really moved by them, that they've had that effect on us already. But the result is directly proportional to our desire. One man will sit in front of them and he'll just see God. The other man will, do the ceremony and go home. What's the difference? Our desire. So if you want to revere them or pay reverence, allow that spark to light inside you. Say, no. We won't say, it's a little bit like those of us who want to lose weight. We say, and that's what householders are. They're dealing with kids and problems, and myself and Brian have both been through family members dying and all that sort of thing. He said, I will give up biscuits after I lose weight. I will find God in my life after I finish the householder tasks. No. Find God now, and the householder tasks become easy. And they will all say that to you. But it's up to us to go, no, this is it. We're losing one Swami. Well, we'll never lose him, because once he's been in your life, that's it. And we're gaining a new one. The greatest reverence you can pay both of them is to go, no, not tomorrow. We will give up the biscuits now. We will spark up that spirituality. Because when I see the devotees who I've been away from, you may not see the change in you. I do. I see that God shining through you. And that's directly as a result of even being in the room with the men. So they kept me away from for a reason, because I probably wreck your head, but you are so welcome now. And you will always be with us. You've never gone anywhere. As they say, we're not born. We don't die. You will always be in our life. One look, that's a second look I've got now, actually, which is a huge blessing. But maybe I haven't got the right words, but to explain the profound effect that you've had on all of our lives is that I don't think there's words to do it, but I'll give it a shot anyway, When I look into all of your eyes, I see the Master, Vimokshananda, the Mother, and I've got to put in Nivedita as well. And I'm so grateful to you all of you for that. Really, I'm so grateful. Yeah, I'll go and get in trouble. Up to you. Who's next?
I believe we have a lot of messages coming in from our devotees on the chat. Could I just ask Malloy to read those out for Swamiji's here, please?
Just Malloy on mute.
All right. I guess there's some issues there. I'll read out the messages from here. There's one here. We are highly blessed and grateful to the Holy Trio to have you as our spiritual mentor and guide from far and near. Maharaj, you have been a great source of inspiration for us. Our heartfelt pranams to you, Swami Vimokshananda Ji Maharaj. We thank you very much for conducting so many discourses for us in Muscat, Oman. Okay, hold on a minute.
Highly blessed. What you try out?
They are from Oman, Muscat.
Not all names are visible, so we'll just call out the names that are visible. We're highly blessed and grateful to the Holy Trio to have you as our spiritual mentor and guide from far and near. Maharaj, you've been a great source of inspiration for us. Our heartfelt pranams to you, Swami Vimokshananda Ji Maharaj. We thank you very much for conducting so many discourses for us. In Muscat, Oman, we have learned so much and we look forward to hearing you more and more in the future. Maharaj, we wish you a safe journey to Belur Math. We pray for your speedy recovery. Maharaj, the above message is from Bandhana Swapan Sarkar, Amresh Sharanappa, and all devotees of Ramakrishna Satsang Group, Muscat. Another message from Hariharan. Dear Swami Vimokshananda Ji, Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Deva Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. You have not only inspired the devotees through your amazing lectures, but also have inspired younger people like us by encouraging us to show our talents. My heartfelt pranams to your holy feet. Thank you so much for always being a constant mentor and encourager. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Another message from Vijay Lakshmi. Om Shri Gurudev. Wishing Swami Vimokshananda Ji a safe journey back home, and our prayers are for your speedy recovery and good rest. We miss you back in South Africa. Love and pranams from all South African devotees. Another message again from South Africa. Wishing Swami Vimokshananda Ji a safe journey back home, and our prayers are for your speedy recovery and good rest. We miss you back here in South Africa. Love and pranams. There are more messages coming in. So I will read it later.
Yes. Thank you to all devotees from across everywhere who have sent in their messages. And as more messages come in intermittently, we will read them out here. I would now request Prithvish to come over from the ashram here and share his thoughts and views.
With my pranam to the Holy Trio and my pranams to the Maharajas. Greeting all of you, the devotees present here and in the Zoom who found out time here. The last few minutes have been very touching, all the things that people were saying. I'm not surprised why they're getting emotional. I wrote down a few things, but I think I will not be able to say those things. Let me first welcome Swami Shantivratananda. Swamiji, welcome to Ireland. Had last few weeks had the opportunity to connect with you. Really happy to see you here. I'll also like to thank Swami Purnananda for being the continuing thread over here. Your dedication, your passion is what has got us here. So thank you. Also like to specially mention, somebody spoke at the beginning about your subtle humor, the banter. We will continue to enjoy that. Sometimes I will say that when you cracked a joke, everybody laughed and I couldn't understand. I will turn back at Swami Vimokshananda and say, what was that? And he being such a nice man, he always comforts me. He will say, I also didn't understand. but you know, that's what Swami Vimokshananda is. And I knew I have, from my childhood, I was very close to the Ramakrishna mission, Mathan mission. It was a part of the texture of my growing up. I visited the Math, I studied there in the mission, and so it was not something new to me. But my association with the Ireland chapter started after you came, Maharaj. What started as one or two occasional visit very soon, unknowingly, converted to a very regular visit over here, participating in all the activities. It was surely Thakur's wish, but I am very sure in my heart that you were the catalyst. I don't know how to express my thanks for the kindness, love, and accommodation, and the numerous mindless questions I kept on asking Maharaj. I remember once in a 4 or 5 hour car journey, the number of questions I had asked him. He patiently answered all my questions. And thank you for taking that, always being there. And I'm not giving you a farewell. I will not miss you. You are there, going to continue here. And all those now wonderful proses and verses we heard. I don't know much of Irish. I will borrow a small quote from an Irish poet, that too in English. So it's from Seamus Heaney. He says, since when, he asked, are the first line and the last line of any poem is where the poem begins and ends? It doesn't. So this poem, this journey of yours continues with us. You showed us a lesson today that how you have continued to give up all attachments. You go to a center, develop it, move forward to another center. God knows how many you have done. So I'm very happy that there will be many more people who will get the same thing from you. As a token of gratitude, I have a small thing for you which I'd like to give to you. It's not as these things. I'll take it off from here. I don't know how you will keep this. Thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah.
So this is Swami Vimokshananda Maharaj's painting. It is done by Pratish, by his own pen.
That was wonderful, Pritish, and that little token was absolutely brilliant, beautiful gem. From the ashram here, we have Rohan. We have a few other devotees out on Zoom from Edinburgh and as well who would like to say a few words. So over to you, Rohan, if you can.
So first of all, I would like to say that I'm the most luckiest person here, because early in the morning when I opened my eyes, I could see the Swamijis. And the first, I would like to share one memory. When I first came here, I came with one of my friends, and I was just having a communication with Swami Vimokshananda ji. And whenever I used to ask him a question, he used to close his eyes and he used to answer to my questions. So when we went out, my friend was asking me, does he tell the future as well? Because whenever we were talking to him, he used to close his eyes and he used to answer. So he was like, next time let's get our Rashi and all, and we'll ask about the future as well. But I told him it's not like that. They are the monks and they are the enlightened people. So after coming here, the main thing what I was looking for was love, not philosophy, not anything else. But when I came here, I got that love. The main thing struck for me was Swami Purnanandaji's statement. Whenever I used to ask him, how are you? He used to say, I am well if you are well. So that sentence was a very great impact in my life. And all I want to say is, I also want to welcome Swami Shantivratananda to the ashram, and he's young. So I know I could learn a lot of things from him. And about Swami Vimokshananda ji, the first thing whenever I come to India, I'm going to come and meet you, Swamiji. So thank you so much for allowing me to come here and stay with you, the great enlightened people. So that's all. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you, Rohan. We now have a few speakers online on Zoom from Edinburgh who would also like to share their thoughts. I would like to invite Shumana Sinha to present herself first, and after that, Dr. Shantanu Sharkar. Over to you, Shumana. Can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you all. Jai Thakur, Pranam Maharaj, Pranam. We feel extremely blessed to have the holy company of Maharaj, virtually and in person. You know, for last, we had Maharaj for last 2.5 years. We had the holy company of Maharaj in person also in Edinburgh. So as soon as we met Maharaj, so he was our mother. So all of us here in Edinburgh, I'm speaking on behalf of everybody in Edinburgh, say he's our mother here. So no matter any time we text him, we ask him, so Maharaj, can we call you? The answer we know we'll get is sure, certainly, yes, you can call anytime. So he's our mother here. And I've spoken to many devotees here, and everybody will say, tell us, you know, he's so affectionate. So that universal love that Maharaj generates is so characteristics of a mother, and especially our mother, Holy Mother, Sri Ma. So he is our mother in the truest sense. So as a true mother can never forget her child, you know, so I'm so certain that Maharaj will never forget us and will always keep us in his prayer, and will pray for our spiritual progress to Thakur Ma and Swamiji. Thank you, Maharaj. Thank you for always being there for us. Thank you, Maharaj. Jai Thakur.
Thank you, Shumana. Can we now ask Dr. Shantanu Sharkar from Edinburgh again? Dr. Shantanu Sharkar, are you online here? We'll come back to you later. From amidst our audience here as well, we have Shambhu Chatterjee who would like to say a few words. So over to Shambhu.
Pranam Maharaj. Like many of us already mentioned that what we are feeling right now. So I will touch upon few things. Like Prithizda mentioned, I have also been very much in contact with Ramakrishna Mission because of my academic background. And from that time onwards, I think we have the connection between Maharaj and us as Dada and Bhai, like senior brother and junior brother. So in Bengal, in our hostel, we call them by first name with Dada. And Swami Vimokshananda ji Maharaj was popularly known as Sundar Maharaj. And before coming here, I was not aware about him, but I think many of my senior had already recommended about him. I was going through his blog and I found that, like Swami Purnananda ji mentioned, nothing is permanent except change. The same has been echoed throughout his career, be it the cyclone work in 70s in Andhra Pradesh, or some work in remote villages in Arunachal Pradesh, or great work in a medical institution in Shiva Pratishthan. And there comes the overseas project, either in Singapore or in Durban or in Dublin. I was very privileged and I feel blessed that I got to meet him the immediate next day after my arrival in Dublin. And the best part, which I will always remember about Maharaj, is that even at the age of 60 plus, he is very much tech savvy. He maintains
70 plus.
60 plus covers 70 plus. And I think I went through his blogs, and he is too much updated about how to connect with his devotees. And I think he is one of the first person who correctly identified that none of the photos that I published are raw. All are edited either by Photoshop or any external editor. So that was the beauty of him. I will miss him, but at the same time, I'm very much hopeful that I will be in touch with him. I will end my conversation with an old word which I got to know from another my Maharaj Guru. They used to say that Sneha oti bisham bostu. Affection is a dangerous thing. So that's why they come to a place, they build the rapport, and then move to next assignment. I think that is what Sundar Maharaj has also decided. So all the best for his next course of assignment. And at the same time, I am welcoming Swami Shantivratananda ji Maharaj. In my mobile, I have saved your name as Notun Maharaj. Notun means new. So definitely we will have brilliant memories in the coming days. And at the same time, Maharaj, we will definitely be in touch. Namaskar.
Thank you, Shambhu. That was wonderful. I think we have got Dr. Shantanu Sharkar online now. Dr. Sharkar, if you can just unmute yourself. And let us know. We would there. So we would like to hand it over to you now, Dr. Shantanu Sharkar, to share your thoughts and views. Over to you. Can you please unmute yourself? Yes.
Can you hear me now? Okay. Pranam Maharaj. So please accept our pranam from Aberdeen, Scotland. We really enjoyed your presence at our monthly Patachakra meeting, Maharaj, over the last few years since we had this unprecedented crisis with COVID. So all your explanations about mother are all so much, important for our spiritual life, and it also helped us to deal with this crisis in our lives to some extent. So I do not want to say anything. I just want to say that we'll miss you here in Scotland very much, and to wish you all the well in your future journey to Belurmot, as you mentioned last time. And but you will remain in our heart as forever, and your teachings are always, hopefully, will show us some lights in our spiritual life for future. So thank you very much for inviting me. Thank you for allowing me to speak, Maharaj. And please accept our pranam again, and also pranam to Swami Puranananda ji and our new Maharaj. Hopefully we'll see you at some point. Thank you.
Appreciate you joining us. Thank you, Dr. Sharkar. Thank you very much.
I know it's always a case of racing against time, and that's what we are going through at the moment here. We still have a few devotees, so I would quickly ask Meera Malai, as we know her, to come over and say a few words.
Ram Swamiji. Thanks everyone. I wasn't planning to speak, but then I feel very emotional and moved. I'd like to pay my respects to you, Swamiji, and wish you all well. And wherever you are, we feel very blessed. Everybody spoke about, how they felt the motherly and fatherly love from Swamiji. I would like to second that. Two things I wanted to mention specifically about Swamiji. One, all his great lectures and stories about, the life of Holy Mother and Master, and his stories for the Balagokulam children. Not just the children, even as an adult. I know we all enjoyed those moments, those classes with you, Swamiji. We would very much miss those from you. So thank you for all that. And the second thing, I've always admired the brotherhood, the humor and the love and care and affection and the brotherhoodness between the Swamijis, which I wanted to highlight as well. It would be very subtle. You would see in those things in when Swamiji asks, he like hot water, he liked that very much, serve that, he would like that food, it's his food, learn to make that Zimbabwean food for him, he loves it very much, all those things. And the same from Swami Purnananda ji to Swami Vimokshananda ji as well, the way they take care of each other. I've always admired that. And I was even telling Swamiji the other day, I don't know who will take care of him once you leave. So I welcome Swami Shantivratananda ji, and he said the new Swamiji is great already, that I heard from Swami Vimokshananda ji. So I at this moment, I would like to say thank you and pay our respects to Swami Vimokshananda ji for everything he has done and for all the continued blessings that's going to be there for all of us here. And welcome Swami Shantivratananda ji, and thank you Swami Purnananda ji as well. Thank you for everything.
Thank you, Malai. That was really wonderful. And really to second what you said there just a while ago about both Swamis looking after each other and kind of making sure that their needs and all are catered to, that we have seen all of us right from the beginning. I definitely can second that, and I'm sure everybody can. Now we are coming to our very end of all our devotee talks, and definitely to bring it up and sum it all up, we have Malavika Basu from our devotees. Yeah, so you'd like to stand. So why don't you stand here? এইখানটা যাও, কাজ করে তুমি এইখানটা দাঁড়িয়ে কথা বল, তাহলে দেখা পাওয়া যাবে। মুন্ডু কেটে গেছে, মুন্ডু গেলে খাবে।
It's very difficult to start because of many reasons. So I have prepared a few lines that I have to kind of look at it, and maybe if I am lucky, then I will be able to continue. So this is Radio Television, the Nivedita House channel of RKM Dublin EVS. Welcome to a very special bulletin of Falte and Slang, as we say in Irish. though probably the pronunciation is not right. If you don't know me, I am Malavika, one of the Blessed SS coordinators, along with Rai, who is the compere today. Also, I have two or maybe a few more nicknames. One of them is EE. Guess what's that? Not electrical engineer. It's Eagle's Eye, certified by Swami, because I was his proofreader. That's right. And also I have got another nickname that was not very popular, probably mostly between him and me. He calls me sometimes a devout follower of Nakiran, according to him again. And if that requires a little bit of elaboration, so somebody who is absolutely stubborn, probably. And maybe there are some reasons. If I get chance, I'll tell you. So because this is a news bulletin, so there will be some snapshots, and it's not definitely not going to be a sum up of the all the talks today. But many of you have shared my thoughts and feelings, so I don't see any also reason also to sum up the things. So I also have a little cheat from one of the younger members of the RKVC Dublin, and I will chip in those appropriately. I'll try to. So formally, our heartiest welcome to our new minister in charge, revered Shantivratananda Ji Maharaj. So we offer our utmost regards and pranams, and we look forward to your spiritual direction along with Swami Purnananda Ji, as we have enjoyed in the last few years with Swami Vimokshananda Ji. And I would like to say that he has already made his marks in his unique style with the series that he has started, and we started to enjoy, and many commented very favorably. And one of the comments was that he himself is critical, that he speaks too fast, but then one of them said that fast is good because it kind of helps to hold the attention, otherwise mind gets tangent like that. And in spite of that, he has also, he tells many so-called uncommon stories. So it's a very, very good listening of his, it's very quite enchanting to listen to his talks. And many of us had the opportunity to see him doing puja and arati and wonderful chanting. So we really loved all those things. In a few weeks' time, I would say that he has become quite my dear with particularly the youngsters. I'll tell you just one incident. That one of my ex-student is now moving to Cork, and he took up phone just day before yesterday and said, "Ma'am, I have passed the driving test. That's the good news." I said, "Well done." And the second thing is, he said that means at least once a month I can come to the ashram. And I was absolutely pleased about it, that this was his reaction and all these things. So he said, so he already feels connected. And then our new Swamiji is also quite witty too. One day I had to run back to the college but just a few highlighters, perhaps. As Brian said, that somehow some unique bonding developed, and also comradeship, and one of the major links was WhatsApp. And as to in Bengali, there is a saying, "Hat thakte mukh keno," and that has a very different meaning in the sense that somebody who is a bit rowdy in nature, he doesn't prefer to quarrel, rather he prefers to fight. Whereas in English, that my version was, if I can send WhatsApp messages, why do I need to talk? And so that was the corollary. So gradually he termed my SMSs as LMS, that they don't qualify in the category of SMS anymore. But I feel like that was immensely through his affectionate grace that I got to be able to be connected. Now, just Rai has warned me that I need to finish quickly. So according to oblige Rai, because I have to obviously follow her instructions. So first I'll go through the theory, okay? Theory means the pointers, that if I have to just say one line about Swami V, what would I say? Or if I'm given chance to say 3 pointers, okay, I'll tell. And then if I'm given 5 pointers, I will also oblige, okay? So take your pick.
You're making me the bad guy. Go for it.
5? Okay, brilliant, thank you. So I'll start with, if this was just one line I have to say, his contribution to us, I feel, is the love and devotion to Guru. If it is second one, then it's the deep connection with our Indian tradition. And the third one, spreading the love and message of Holy Mother and bringing her in our lives. I don't know if there are any mothers, at least in this room, who can raise their hand that they haven't cried at any point of time after listening to his talk on Holy Mother. Some of them are not in this room today, so I can probably on their behalf, I can share those incidents. One of us, Aparna, had told that how distraught she was after losing her father, and how Swamiji's talk on Holy Mother got her back, and she felt so calm and so connected back, and as if all the heaviness of her heart was taken away. And very recently also Swamiji explained that in the hospital, when he was going through so much of pain after the accident and the surgery, how another Indian nurse served him like her father. And then to one of us, he said that sometimes those pains, etc., may not come due to our own prarabdhas, but he said that he was feeling blessed to bear the pain, that lady felt that by serving Swamiji, how she could connect, that she was able to serve her father and got much peace in her mind. I still remember, even I can, because I have the habit of writing diary, so I can even tell you the date, but I won't. Or should I? Okay, so it was probably, if I'm not too wrong, 12th of April 1999, and Swamiji had probably come back from one of his trips from Russia. 2019. And then he had got some sore throat or something like that, and few of us had come to see him, and I think Georgiana, Deepak, Brian O, and Goshia, myself were there, and I was leaving for India, and so I had just come to visit the ashram, and then we had this talk, and this talk was on your love and devotion for your guru, how much it is required, and he had something in his. This was just a casual table conversation, and when we left the room, there were a couple of questions, and he replied, and all these things, and we really felt like something very, very different. And that was probably the beginning, and until recently, this time I won't tell you the number. If you want to go through one of his talks on the gospel, something 80 plus, I can just tell you, just to make your work easier. So you'll see that how he has emphasized the importance of mantra and chanting, and how a sincere devotee can get to practice and test their mantra and get the guru's blessing. So that was about the pointer one. Now, probably things are becoming a bit serious. So I'll just present like these flowers, a few snapshot, different colors from the SS coordinator's experience that Rai and myself have experienced, that that some of the funny comments that he likes to send us, and we all feel very happy, and we shared among each others. So it was probably some water kettle was required for the ashram, and one of us coordinated, and it so happened that another SS devotee wanted to visit the ashram with other family members, and she was very happy. Meera, it was Meera who was very happy to come and offer and present the, oh, there you are. And Swamiji was very pleased, and his comment was, wow, it was arranged in a military speed. And I asked for it in the morning, and it arrived in the afternoon. And then there were some boisterous also in the group, or I should not say where, that Swamiji, being so nice and kind and gentle, asked that, can you please clean this rack or something? And some of us would say, nope. And instead would have pointed to somebody else's, oh, that's the job of Rai and Gangotri, and those are very prim and proper. But in spite of all these things, he had been all accepting. That is one of his trademarks that probably all of us have gauged. But then because of his all-loving nature, it is also hard to say no to him. And it is one of the Saturday or Sunday evenings after Arati, we had some new visitors in the ashram. And because we don't know how many of us will have supper together, so supper also used to be quite a surprise, like a little bit of this and that. And that day probably we had some chole and root rice. Merely that would suffice for 4 or 5 people, but altogether we were 9. And Swamiji didn't want to hurt our sentiments, so he gently looked at us, the 2 mothers present. Shupta is probably online today, and us, and so we had to say yes. How can we turn him down? And then Shupta and Anirban ran upstairs. So what we say, 1-story dal in India, so we had to make it a 3-story dal by adding hot water and all these things. So it would be a very nice. And then Anirban brought out some frozen paratha and all these things, and then we offered a very happy so-called 3-course dinner. And they say that if you have large heart, like even with a tamarind leaf, you can feed, you can give space for 9 people, something like that. So we got 1/4 of a paratha and then a bowl soup with maybe 1 or 2 chickpeas in that. If you are lucky to feed it up. But that's it. So we have very many wonderful memories of this kind of supper in the ashram. And sometimes maybe we were too loud and all these things, but we never felt like we were not unwanted. And so all these loving memories are there. So now, a quiz for all of you. I don't know if the answers are going to be right, but whether he is going to contest also, I don't know. So let me test it. Okay, ready for a Q&A? The quiz is, who is Swami V's favorite monastic direct disciples apart from Swami Vivekananda? You cannot count him in because he is part of the holy tribe. How many guesses should I allow, right? 3. 3. Okay, there you go. Sorry? Swami Brahmananda. Okay, I will take this down. Any other choice? Then I will declare the answer. Shivanandaji, number 2, only last choice. Swami Turiyanandaji, all 0. Got it wrong. Nope. Okay, now you cannot just go by one and exhaust and land up in Swami Sharadanandaji's name. So
Daddy has got an answer to say.
It's you.
It's you. Okay, now, okay, so I will give you another encouraging chance with the next question.
What's the answer?
Swami Sharadanandaji. He didn't say no. Okay, the next question, please. This time you have to, or you can, like, he might agree to all of it, and I'm not going to give you 0. You are all going to get score. What if he has to choose only one verse from Bhagavad Gita? What would be that number?
Shloka.
Shloka, yeah.
Number.
Yes.
Is this your favorite one?
No.
Brahmarpanam Brahmahave.
No, Akhanda is not there.
Bhagavad Gita.
Brahmarpanam Brahmahave.
Okay, so okay. No, maybe all of these are there, but if it was just one, so maybe I will just say the number, and some of you are familiar with Bhagavad Gita, so maybe Advait might chant it for us. So it's BG 5.20. Okay, so it's, would you like to say it?
Maharaj can chant it.
Yes, Maharaj. Why don't you chant it? Please.
We will give the audience now.
Young Precious. Why don't you chant it?
We are out of the contest. So.
No, I didn't say that. I was just courteous.
That's what she did, of course.
No, I didn't. Yes, means.
Yes, no.
Stira buddhi asamura. Brahmavit Brahmanisthita.
Right.
Is it okay? Forcibly. Okay, so
yeah.
Okay, so I'm just finishing saying that. Okay, so you miss all the rest of the fun and game, and so I'm just coming to the last part. So as Brian and Juma all started, so it's really hard to say farewell, but we are not going to say farewell or can say goodbye because he's so much part and parcel of our lives. And like you really said, that the dye in the water, that is so well mixed now, it's hard to separate out. So our prayer to Thakur Ma Shamiji, that may they keep him blessed as always, and so may he be the source of inspiration for many more of us for many more years, and may they grant him good health and spirit to continue in that jovial spirit. Sri Oh, just one thing, I would be doing injustice to this little one. If these two stories are not told about Swami S, what I think of Swami S. He is curious, quick learner, musical, many interests, but he is also a competitor because with the children, because he calls the mothers. And how dare he? That was okay. And then about Swami V, affectionate and a very good storyteller and likes fun facts and traveling. And he has a very funny cucumber story. That the first day... No, it's cucumber. Cucumber. Yes, that Atmaja said that it is cucumber, and Swamiji was perhaps very surprised. What is that? I said, oh, that's what we say, cucumber. And then both of them had this sharing of their love. Oh, not to look at these things.
Thank you, Malavika. After all those wonderful talks and memories shared by all devotees, I would now like to invite Swami Vimokshananda ji and say a few words.
Om Akhandamandalakaram Vyaptam Yena Characharam Tatpadam Darshitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Om Namo Bhagavate Sri Ramakrishnaya. Thank you, Raikamal, and my dear monastic brothers, and all the devotees and children. Yes, it was so gratifying to listen to so many of you, those who are present as well as those who are online. And you have given the words of pleasure for my ears. When I heard from each of you, and I could remember those incidents as if I am reliving those occasions now. Of course, in our life, that is in the life of Ramakrishna order, where we are in as a member, we do not stick to one place. Sometimes it happens, you remain in a place for many years, 15 years, 20 years, 25 years. But we do move also from place to place. So it has been rightly said by Swami Vivekananda that the flag of Sri Ramakrishna has to be kept aloft, and whoever is taking it will march on, and the time comes for him to leave it to the next. So he should hand over that stick where the flag is now spreading. So in that way, so the handover
and takeover has been done. In 2018, before the month of June, that is before the inauguration of this center, one day headquarters called me in Belur Math and told me that we are going to open a new center in Ireland. And this is Ireland is considered because Sister Nivedita, as Margaret Elizabeth was born, an Irish. So Ireland has got a special place. So they said, 150th anniversary of Sister Nivedita is coming. Should you not have a place in that country where she was born? So that's how the thoughts were rolled on. And I should congratulate Swami Purnanandaji here, who to his credit came up with the idea to hand over the center to the Ramakrishna Mission for affiliation. Why? Internally, he was feeling that if I am no more here, then the work that has been done, what will happen to that? How these ideas of Sri Ramakrishna, the spiritual ideas of my Holy Mother, the inspiring ideas of Swami Vivekananda can be brought into the society and continued. So for continuation, you require an organization. And the organization must be affiliated to Belur Math. In that case, what happens? If one Swami goes, then another Swami will come from Belur Math. So the continuation will be kept up. So that was one of the wonderful ideas Swami Purnanandaji thought 12 years back, mind you. He thought, what will happen after me? He thought about that. And he decided to hand it over to Belur Math. So Belur Math headquarters Swamis came here. They came to UK and then they came here. They went to Dunganan, the birth village of Sister Nivedita, and met people. And then they decided, let us have a center here. And Swami Purnanandaji handed over the center that he started as the Institute of United Culture. He started as a simple thing, Institute of United Culture. Or some of our, our olden devotees who are here, Paul and Brian, and they all used to go there. Even Paddy used to go there. So they in the Blessington Street, is it not, Mara? In those days, they used to go there. Yes. And that idea of continuation is a very important point in our life. So Sri Ramakrishna wanted this continuation, and Swami Vivekananda started that. So this organization will continue. Whether who comes or not is not a matter. But we are all instruments in his hands. So that is how we consider our life. So people ask, Swamiji, you are going. I am getting tears in my eyes. And are you not feeling like that? Won't you cry for us? I said, how can that be? Because we are Jajavar, as in Bengali we say, Jajavar means we are just going from place to place, place to place. So wanderers, we are wanderers, but we cannot have an attachment to either place or people. We have to move on. As the Upanishad says, go on, proceed on. So that is what we do. So in that way I came here. Of course, it is not that I could not have stayed here. Mind you, here the government rule is 6 years they will allow a monk to stay here. So 3 years they give the visa, and then if you extension, another 3 years I can get. It's not a problem. But now what I thought was, I am getting 73, and then now if I extend my stay, I will be 76 when I go from this country. So that itself I felt that is some incongruity in that idea of an old man leading a advancement. So today only we signed, the minister in charge has to sign a form, and the minister in charge who is coming up, he has to sign a form to have a declaration to Belur Math. He has to give that. So for the advancement of the ideals and ideas of Ramakrishna and Vivekananda, one has to continue this process. So for that I thought, now the center has been well established by the help of all of you and by the grace of that holy tribe. How it is well established, you say, we have got now a building on our own. Our Vedanta Society has got a building. There are organizations, Indian organizations, mind you, I tell you, in Ireland, who have not got yet their own place. They are still in rented houses. Even VSCC got only recently. How it was difficult for them to get a place. But then here, by the help of the devotees, the place was obtained. So your settlement place is very necessary to advance your ideas. So the place has been got. And you know, Swami Purnananda had to work a lot and get money as loan from people. Some money has to be got. How do you get it? If you have to purchase a house like this, now you require money. And the money will not come straight from the gach, as we say, from the tree. You have to get it from the people. And people hand it over. That is the faith that they had with Purnananda. Purnananda said, I will return to you. But of course, 2-3 members said, we are giving this as donation. We don't want in return. Okay, that was a great help for us. And that way, this loan also has been completely recovered now. Now there is no single penny as a loan in the name of Ayurveda Society. So that is a great thing. And thirdly, this organization has been properly affiliated, because for the affiliation also we require certain instruction from Belur Math. They wanted me to go and find out, is there any charitable society registration activities, the act in the government from which we can get the registration. And I should tell you, by the efforts of our directors and officials like Jeff, accountant like Jeff, you know, the matter was moved and taken up, and now we have got the charitable recognition number also. See, that's also very big thing. You know? So within 2 years, you can get a number from the government is very, very difficult. You know, they say government only will go inside. Nothing you can get out from them. So that is how the Indian governments, they are said. So here in 2 years, you could get the charitable act recognizing you as a charitable organization. So that is a wonderful thing. So with all that, now the time has come for the center to take a leap. It is no more walking. It is now a leap. Now, at the age of 73, I thought, now I will not be able to leap. And unfortunately, I broke my hip also recently. So, not to speak of the leaping, but not to speak of, even what to speak of the walking with the stick. So I thought, I must hand over to a young man. So I suggested to Belur Math, why don't you send a young Swami who can take up, who can stay for 6 more years and then do a lot of expansion work. So there are a lot of things to be done, to the society. And we have a plan to implement the statue of Sister Nivedita at the very heart of Dublin. That is a very plan that has been taken up. And we are going to move the government for that because of the COVID, for the last 2 years we couldn't do anything. And the mayor and the other officials, high officials of the government, they are all now in favor of that. So then the new Swami, and with the help of Swami Purnanandaji, they will take up that idea. And we are thinking where in the park, what is the park? Stephens Park, already the statue of Rabindranath Tagore is there. So somewhere near, we want to have it so that when people come to visit Stephens Park, I don't know, we all go to Stephens Park. And so when you go there, we can see Nivedita also there. So Nivedita born in this place, and as an Irish woman, she got so much popularity in India. In India, in Nivedita's name, there are hundreds and thousands of parks. Schools are running in her name. But in Ireland, she is not well known. So it is one of our motto, our ideas of our Ayurveda Society, to bring Sister Nivedita to the people's mind, And who is Nivedita? How an Irish woman from this Ireland went to India and did so much work for India's development. It's, mind-boggling when you read Nivedita's life. So with all this, so I thought a younger man is necessary and recommended to headquarters, and they selected very worthy a young person. People say that, oh, he's only 38, like that they say. But then 38, you should not be considered as a small age. You know, at the age of 16, Adi Shankaracharya won all over India. Is it not? Swami Vivekananda died at the age of 39. So how much he did within the 39 years? So age is not a matter. So, and a new Swami has come. And my request to all of you is to continue and increase whenever possible your support for the new Swami so that the organization can grow. But from my side, I must thank all of you for the wonderful cooperation you gave me. And I must especially say, when I first came here and I am unable to eat this bread and bun, no rice, no dal, no curry. So how will you eat? So Swami Purnanandaji took very kind to me. And then we had a very good interaction, as some of the devotees pointed out. We make fun also at each other, and then we take care of each other also. So in that way, we have been very nice. And he was telling, why are you going? Why don't you retire? Instead of retiring at Belur Math, you can retire here itself. Why don't you stay here? Like that he said. So he was so kind of that. So he said, what is happening? How are you going to eat now? So in the meantime, some of these devotees, the mothers, I should say, and particularly Malavika, took the lead, and she combined Rai Kamal, and they made a very good group. 15, 20 mothers came up, and they said, you don't need to worry about cooking here. See, we don't cook here. We don't purchase groceries.
And Anita Mashi also suggested in the beginning.
In the beginning, Anita Mashi also suggested. I am coming to her later. So so these mothers of 15, 20 mothers, they combined together, they made a roster. And they said every day, one mother will cook and bring it to the ashram. So two were there. And at that time, Swami Purnanandaji used to eat well. Afterwards, he switched over to only soup and... but at that time, he used to eat dosas, he used to eat idlis, and he used to eat even rice also. But nowadays, he stopped all those things. Perhaps it is not, fitting to his stomach. It's very natural. His stomach is, Zimbabwean stomach. So you can't get that stomach. Even Irish food is not very good for him. So, and I am having an Indian stomach, so it is quite a difficult thing. But then the mothers, they used to bring very nice soup for him, and he is quite happy with the food. I am also happy with the food. And the new Swami, when he came here, people in India asked him in Bangalore and etc., Mysore, they asked him, what are you going to eat there in Ireland? Only bread and bun. They said, because we are vegetarians. For non-vegetarian, you have plenty of items. But for vegetarian, you have very few items. So they asked, but then he was surprised to find Indian food here. See, that has been a great contribution by the mothers, whom I should acknowledge, and my gratefulness to all of the mothers. Before Swami Purnanandaji started his organization, the Institute of United Culture, there was a Ramakrishna Vedanta Center. In the Ramakrishna Vedanta Society, in that name, one Dr. Siddhartha Sen's wife, Anita Sen, she started. She is a great lady, and her husband is very well known in Trinity College professor. He retired now. And even now, I heard Nobel Prize laureates come to him and consult him on certain matters. Such a great, very erudite person, that Dr. Siddhartha Sen. So his wife started a beautiful a private center, as it is called, just a congregation, and she wanted to hand it over to Belur Math. But when Belur Math Swamis came here and talked to her and talked to Swami Purnanandaji, so they accepted Purnanandaji Center for affiliation. So that center is still there. That Anita auntie, what she is conducting a center, that is still there. That has got its own independence. So in Ireland itself, we have got one affiliated center to Belur Math, our headquarters, and one non-affiliated center is there. In many of the towns, you will find, as you read some comments from Oman, that is Muscat. In Muscat, there is a group of devotees who have got a private center. It's called private center. In Edinburgh, it is a private center. So there are many places all over the world, groups of devotees come together. I was telling Swami Purnanandaji, even in Cork or in other places, we can have a group of devotees who can conduct their own private center, They can have a name and then they can conduct a private center. So in that way, Ramakrishna's ideas can be spread. Why Ramakrishna's ideas should be spread in the modern days? It is because that his vast understanding of the human society and the difference of human beings, each one is unique and each one is different from another, and all these differences have to be enclosed under one head. That is, everyone do you accept. You may be entirely different from my nature, but do I love you? Do I accept you? Do I give you that credit? Do I give you the dignity of human? If that is done, it's wonderful. So that is the way I see in this country, and I have been behaving with the people like that. So the Brian, I won't say fat now, Brian Mack. That was my mistake earlier, I said, but now Brian Mack I have gone with him. So people externally may think, oh, Swamiji is going with Brian out. He's going in his car and he's taking him for seeing this place, that place, or a cup of cappuccino somewhere. It's all that is where he's going, and he's interested in photography. No, these are all only external things. But while sitting in the car, while driving in the car, the topics that we discuss, the interaction that happens, he said he has been greatly benefited and changed after talking to me. I am also greatly indebted to him for giving me some of the glimpses of the cultural impact of this country. Ireland has got a great impact on me. So that how do you get the impact of a country? Unless you go to people and the people represent, they put it on you, otherwise you won't get impact. So each one I behaved here, or I had interaction, each one gave me. Even Paul was telling, and Basil Conroy, he was another man. These two people during our administrative meetings, as the directors, we 3 directors are there. So we meet with the treasurer. So we 4 people sit together and discuss things. And I tell them the instructions from the headquarters, how to be implemented here, and what are the ideas that I should get from them. And they have been extremely cooperative. Nobody said anything that I should say, why like that I never asked. They were so sincere. They were always coming forward to help us. Anytime, even at the night, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, we ring up and then we ask for them. And they do. So in that way, it's wonderful that I had great interaction with all the people here. Of course, as Paddy said, I only heard about him earlier. Then I went to his place and talked to him, met him, etc. Nice gentleman he is. But I didn't have that official interaction with him after coming here. But I tell you, whether it is official or non-official, whether it is personal, it doesn't matter. Everyone seems to be giving me so much of love. And people ask me, how do you find Ireland? They used to ask me. I said, Ireland is very cold because I came from Singapore, mind you. All the 12 months, Singapore is warm. And when I came here, it's all cold. Even in summer, if it is 15 degrees, people say it is roasting. But we never had that 35, 40 degrees where I was living. And this place is very cold, but then people are very warm. That is what I found.
What a nice thing.
And I used to stand in the bus stand. We two were standing in the bus stand one day, and one lady came. She said, "Are you from India?" I said, "Yes." She said, "Namaste." Even at bus stand, you get people smiling. I go to mall, etc., some places, and people look at me and they smile at me. This smiling, this coming together is very great. So I have many things to say here to all of you. I would request you to continue your cooperation to the Ayurveda Society. I can say to you, each one who is receiving a monthly salary, can you put a debit order for the ashram? If you consider that, even 20 euros per month, it's not a very big amount, but that would be a great solace to the organization. The center here, it requires electricity, mind you. Swamis have to stay here, that means electricity is required. Programs have to run on electricity, internet, and so many small maintenance expenditures are there. So a maintenance at least we can carry on. But you can't, but food is being taken care of by the devotees, so that is not a big expenditure for us. But for maintenance, we do require funds, and with that funds only, we can proceed on thinking of further other ideas also of expansion. So this is my request to all of you. I hope by the grace of Sri Ramakrishna, Holy Mother and Swamiji, you all will definitely extend your cooperation. I am definite about that. And also, I pray for their blessings. This very 2 years was a great setback after COVID. COVID arrival has brought, has separated us from our devotees. Because 2019 Kali Puja time, 150 people came here. It was a what do you call a mart of joy. So to see so many people coming, and everybody wanted to come here again, but then the COVID came, and then that separated all of us. So we are now contented with only online meetings, but then it should not be. I think the COVID also will now pass on, and people will start coming to ashram. With so far the restrictions are there, please abide by the COVID rules and come to us. You see, coming to ashram, meeting a monk, even seeing a monk is enough. As Paul was very beautifully telling, I just looked at him. He said that look was enough for me, he says. So that is, you see, that meeting a monk in this ochre robe and you see him, that's a great inspiration for your life. So I would request you, whenever, if not in a big crowd, you come at your own time, take an appointment with Purnananda or with Swami Shantivratananda, take an appointment and come here. Sit with him in the library and talk to him. That is how you gain confidence of the Swamis, and then Swamis also understand the devotees. It is a parasparam bhavayantam. So the bhava should be paraspar. So that's how the united way we can grow together. So with these few words, I take leave of all of you. My itinerary program is from here on 28th, I'm leaving at 10 o'clock. 24th, I'm leaving this place at 10 a.m. to airport. And then my plane departure is 1 o'clock or 5 minutes to 1. And then I go to Dubai. I stay in Dubai for 3 days. And then on 28th November, I reach Belur Math. So many people ask me, when you go to Belur Math, what are you going to do? So what do you think I should do? At the age of 73, I ask. But then 73 is not age, it's only a number. So they advise me. So okay, if it is only a number, then I can do some work, is it not? So I do not know what will happen. But after going to Belur Math, I have got 3 months rest. Medical rest has been advised for this. So I have been taking rest till January 9th. After that, the Belur Math may discuss with me what is my next assignment. If any next assignment is given to me, I will accept it. If they ask me without giving any assignment, what do you want to do? If that option is given to me, I would say merrily that I would like to retire from the active life and go to a center where I can do my tapasya, is a recluse life I can lead. I told Swami Purnanandaji, without phone, without computer, I would like to stay some days till my last breath. That would be my idea. So, but then we do not know. You see, the masters, that is Ramakrishna's ideas, we can never guess. He always likes to give us surprises. And at every turn of our life, he has been giving me surprises. So he may give surprise in Belur Math also. So whatever it is, I will be conveying to the Swamis where I go and what I do. So you all be. Of course, the Swami Purnanandaji wants me to come back, if not in Ireland, at least nearby Ireland. So he's telling me every day, and he's making my mind also prepared, to come back. So
maybe he had a dream.
Yes. So with that, I'm taking leave of all of you. Thank you very much. Jai Ramakrishna. So the new Swami who has come today morning, I have officially signed the papers and handed over to him, the minister in charge of the center. So I want to welcome him officially with that flower bouquet. Can you please give it? I'll just hand it over to him. Yes. Come here, before the camera. So this is on behalf of all of you, my love and affection to my youngest brother here. And because my next younger brother is Swami Purnananda, so he is the youngest brother here. So I'm handing over this bouquet as a mark of welcoming to this new center. I would request Swami Shantivratananda to say a few words as a mark of being welcomed. So we call it welcome speech. Today he asked me, I have to welcome everyone. That is a welcome speech. Because you are being welcomed, you are giving a reply to the welcome address. Please come.
Jananīṃ Śāradāṃ Devīṃ Rāmakriṣṇam Jagadgurum Pādapadme Tayo Śritvā Pranamāmi Muhurmuhu Namah Shri Yatirājāya Vivekānanda Sūraye Satchit Sukasvarūpāya Swamine Tāpaharine Agnānatimirandhasya Gnānāñjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. My reverential pranams to Revered Swami Vimokshananda Maharaj, and also my reverential pranams to Swami Purnananda Maharaj, and my love and good wishes to all the devotees who are present here and all watching this memorable event online. In 2008, I had a probably like this get-together as well as say farewell function as a brahmachari in Ramakrishna Math, Alsur, Bangalore. There, of course, again, I was also young and many young students also gave a good farewell. That was one first experience in my life. Then again, I had two more farewells in Mysore. Mysore Ashrama has got two more sister institutions. There in Rimse, that is called Ramakrishna Institute of Modern Spiritual Education, where I worked for 8 years as a warden, as a take care of students' youths, and guiding the students and all. There also had a wonderful experience like this. And the third, again, recently, coming from Ramakrishna Ashram, Mysuru, had a big farewell meeting like this. But today, when I witnessed this farewell function, though it is called farewell function to Swami Vimokshananda Maharaj and welcoming to me, it was very distinctly, it was rare indeed, and it was very special. Because here I was able to see, of course, everyone I will have the feeling similarly. Even I did had some my own feelings. I'm like going out of the India, which probably I may be experiencing as a fish out of water. I'll be coming to Ireland. And even I did ask once Vimokshananda Maharaj, how things are there. He said it is a very cold country. I've got an allergy to cold. So then my goodness, I will have a very difficult times. But immediately he continued that. But you have got a devotees who make you warm here. So he had said that, but after my coming in, just 2 or 3 days probably coming to Ireland, 19th of October I came. In 2 or 3 days, I did feel the warmth of every devotee. As soon as I came, I think next day, probably the same day, the next day, Bharat and Sharanya came and they brought the hoodies for me. And the beauty was that is ochre in color and it was really very good fit. And every day, most of the time, I'll be using now also that. And when I saw that, I was remembering, at least in India, that is used by youngsters, young chaps. They use. And I used to make fun about all that hoodies and all in the India, but now I see that I am using all these things. And that warmth, I was moved from Bharat's thing. And just 2 days, Vaini took me to the shop and she was forcing me so many things to take and whatever is necessary, probably I took enough warm clothes and all. And also Malvika, before my coming, she met me in Calcutta when I visited Belur Math and she explained about Ayurvedanta Society and all. After coming again and again, she was asking me, probably if not offline, at least message or through phone, Maharaj, everything you have got, you need anything and all. And as Swami Vimokshananda Maharaj said very beautifully, many people used to ask me before my coming, Swamiji, what do you eat there? Do you get rice there? Forget about sambar, dal, curries and all this. Do you get rice? We hear that Ireland doesn't get rice. They've got some notions, prejudices like this and all. So I don't know what I have got there, but probably I think I'll be able to get the things. And after coming here, so I'm not feeling that I've lost especially Indian delicacies, but every day because SS group, that is Sadhu Seva group, through that every day I'm getting. Recently, when I was thinking about it, I felt instead of Sadhu Seva group, I should tell Sharada Service Group. That will be more very apt for the SS group name, I was feeling. Because every day when I see them, because they will have so many difficulties and also so many commitments, maybe in the professional work and also as in the domestic life. But in spite of all that, every day without miss, in 1 month I saw, every day without missing, they're bringing such a delicacy, such a delicious food for us and feeding us, making us so homely. Definitely, probably in the foreign centers, as I know, maybe in US or Australia or Sri Lanka or anywhere, where the devotees every day bringing food, cooking and bringing food and feeding sadhus. Probably there's the first in the entire globe in the Ramakrishna Mutt, that is Ayurvedanta Society. So all the credit goes to the devotees. And of course, as you all said that, even someone asked me, a monk asked me before my coming here, so how are you feeling? You are going to Ireland, how are you feeling? I said, see, Swami Vimokshananda Maharaj is of that age. And he worked in the biggest centers like Ramakrishna Mission, Seva Pratishthan and Ranchi. And also, he was already had 2 experiences where he worked in Singapore as well as in South Africa. South Africa, of course, he had a very toughest. So he had an experience and he had a good exposure. It would have been a cakewalk. It was a cakewalk for him to work in the Ayurvedanta Society also. But for me, getting out from the India itself is a first thing challenging, and working in the foreign center and that too as a ministry in charge, definitely it will be difficult for me, and definitely I have got a big shoes to fill in where it may be difficult. Only with the grace of Holy Trio, blessings of my Gurudev and the support of the devotees, I may be able to, I don't know, headquarters has given the bigger responsibility for me at this age. So recently some of the monks were they were cracking a joke. They do tease us, just like you'll have college ragging, we do have a ragging. The senior sadhus, they do rag. So like that they were saying, you are the youngest Mahanto, youngest head of the center in all over the world. So at least not for yourself, at least for us, you have to create a history, right? Because so that they can think that even for youngsters also they can make head of the center. So you have got a greater responsibility, like they were cracking a joke on me. So such responsibilities do have gotten, I no doubt, with the grace of Holy Trio and my blessings of Gurudev and all the, probably the support of you all devotees, I'll be able to make out, I believe. And definitely in this month, I had a wonderful time with Swami Vimokshananda Maharaj. Just like I think I had listened to a beautiful poem. The poem goes like this: you throw a pebble on the water, it creates a small wave, and the pebble goes and sink in the bottom of that particular pond or lake. But that wave creates one more wave, that creates one more wave, like that. The wave goes and touches the bank of the pond or a river. So similarly, Swami Vimokshananda Maharaj is able to create so many waves in everyone's heart. What wave? Maybe wave of love and wave of spirituality. So that even I did feel that when I came here and when I was conversing with him and when I met him and when I had a good talk every day, especially when we shared the food, we used to have a lot of discussions, and of course I used to have even personal discussions also with him in his room. So much love, so much affection, so much care, and I think for me at least, more than all these things, is gentlemanliness. Because Swami Vivekananda says, first be a gentleman, then you can be a sadhu. That literally I was able to see in Swami Vimokshananda's case. He was the finest gentleman. Probably every one of us, we have to put in our life as a practice. And the beauty thing, one more thing is, I saw in Swami Purnanji Maharaj, is great ascetic nature. We hear so many things. We have heard so many stories about the great monks of our Ramakrishna order. They stood for their tapasya. So same thing I am able to see and I am able to witness with Swami Purnanji about his ascetic nature. He's got always simple living and high thinking. He does always. And whatever comes, let it be. It is a will of mother, it is a will of master. And let us accept and let us try to do our service. Let us try to give our best. That's what his view. And of course, I did hear so many things from Swami Vimokshananda Maharaj also, how Purnanji Maharaj, when he had been to France and Edinburgh, how he had to face a lot of difficulties, how much he had to labor to build this Ayurvedanta society and all. I did witness the third event, a small video how the Ayurvedanta society was built. And of course, when Purnanji Maharaj also showed so many photographs, how this Ayurvedanta society, with the sweat of him and the devotees, of course, how it was built and all. Even I request him that to continue here and to continue his blessings and also as well as guidance for me, so that I will be able to take care of this Ayurvedanta society in forthcoming days. And of course, as I already said that I'm moved by the love, affection, care from all the devotees of Ayurvedanta society. I look forward for such love and affection, care from all of you. And whatever is possible from my side, and whenever you need anything from me, and whatever is possible, definitely I'm ready to help the people. And probably in this connection, I would like to tell a beautiful story which I had heard from my senior sadhus. Swami Tyagishananda is the respected revered monk of the Ramakrishna order. He is known as a Brahmagnani, who was the head of Ramakrishna Math, Bangalore, Baswangudi, Bangalore. He was a great scholar indeed. Once he was walking, in 1960s this story, he was walking on the corridor. A devotee comes. Swamiji, I've got a question. Maybe it may be personal in nature. If you don't get offended, then definitely I would like to ask with you. Swami said, yes, you can go ahead. Then he said, Swamiji, I have taken initiation. Yes, fine. And I do repeat sincerely, morning and evening, I do japa meditation to extent possible. Fine. I am also trying to lead a celibate life, and I am also trying to lead the spiritual life. Fine. And you are also trying to lead a spiritual life. And you also eat idli dosas, and I also eat idli dosas. You maintain your ashrama account, I maintain house account and all. So probably except marriage, I'm not finding any difference between us. So that's what a question hunting my mind. Why don't you tell it, Swamiji? Then Swamiji said, yes. But there is probably, according to me, there's only one difference, one change. What is that? If I get a postcard, that's the time postcard, there was no email and phones. So if I get a postcard, a 15 paisa postcard saying that, my dear Swami Tyagishananda, your services are enough for Bangalore. So and so Swami is coming. You hand over the charge to him and you come back if they say that whatever the few clothes and few books and whatever I have got, personal, so-called personal things, I will pack it, and in the next day or in the prescribed date by Belur Math, I will be leaving. If you get a similar call for you also, what will you do? He said, no, Swamiji, I cannot go. Because I've got my family, I've got my business, I've got my own establishments, I cannot go. Then Swamiji said, see, there's a difference between you and me. I am also eating idli dosa, you are also eating idli dosa. I am also working, probably maintaining accounts and all. You are also maintaining the accounts and all. But I am not attached to that, you are attached to it. That's the only difference. This has been very beautifully told by Swamiji in his Karma Yoga lecture, the power of attachment and the power of detachment. Many times the devotees and the volunteers ask monks, how you are able to do so much work, and doing so many works, you are able to keep your mental peace and you are able to go from one place to another without murmuring. How is it possible? Because this power of attachment and the power of detachment. What is that power of attachment? When you are in that particular center or when the particular task is given to us, we work as if that without me, the center or that particular work or that particular department, it will not be there and it cannot sustain. And the moment when we are working in the particular center, our head of the center asks me to change the department. Similarly, we change our departments, or when the headquarters says to change the centers, we change our centers, and again we don't turn back. We'll be going forward. Charai veti, charai veti. That's what power of detachment. When we can, every one of us, monks or brahmacharis or devotees, every one of us, we can put us into practice this. Definitely, we can lead a happiest life. And moreover, our personality will be unfolded in a beautiful way. That is what I have learned, the secret of work from the Swami Vivekananda's Karma Yoga. So let us pray sincerely to Holy Trio so that let our life and let our personality be unfolded so that we will be able to be the fittest instruments in Sri Ramakrishna's hands. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.
Thank you, Swamiji, and also thank you to Swami Vimokshananda ji, to both Swamijis. I would now like to invite Swami Purnananda ji to give the concluding talks for today's events.
So I shall only say a few brief words, probably only, 40 minutes worth or so. So we Swamis are not supposed to be attached or emotional. Anyhow, if there are tissues nearby, that's okay. All right. So just a few words then, a few comments then, a few concluding words. Welcome, Swami Shantivratananda, to your new position. He has so many wonderful qualities that I found in the brief period that I've met him. He has a great sparkle. He has obviously a great intellect. He is a great philosopher. He knows the Sanskrit, the chanting. And I think he's endeared himself to all of you who have met him in the brief time that he's been with us. Swami Vivekananda, he did his work within a mere 40 years, so age is not an issue. And maybe we have another Swami Vivekananda with us. So of all his outstanding qualities, though, he has one most outstanding quality. He gets my jokes. And the other thing, of course, which we have to commend him for is he's an excellent cook. And I'm trying to persuade him to take on a Zimbabwean stomach. It's not an easy thing in developing what is really a new center. And my work all along throughout the years has been over pioneering nature. I've done it in Zimbabwe, I've done it in various places in Africa, and it is not me that has done anything. This center is the work, the flow, the energy, the grace of Thakur Maharaj, Sri Ramakrishna, Holy Mother, Swami Vivekananda, all these three. These three are dimensions of one thing. And so working on the one side, through all the efforts that people have thought was remarkable, it's only remarkable because of the divine grace on the one side, flowing through the organization, flowing through the very first moment that I arrived here, where we devised a constitution, even though it was called Institute of United Culture. It was called that because we didn't want to produce the word Vedanta at this point in time. When we came here, nobody would have understood it. And so it was neutrally called Institute of United Culture. And from the very first moment when we devised the Constitution, I made the directors insert that clause, which was, if the Ramakrishna Math and Mission wish to take us over, they may do so. This was way, way back. And all of those initial members endorsed that. And so the timing was right when it happened. And I want to thank all those devotees who allow themselves to be instrumental in all of this. Of course, we also had the Anita Sen's group. Many of you were members of that group. And so ultimately we integrated, even though the first suggestion was not successful, but we managed to integrate that nicely and create a cohesive family. And I think you will all feel yourselves, as I do, that we are one family. In terms of going forward, we have from the very start strategic plans, but these are entrenched really or a development of our own constitution. The advancement in Ireland of the principles and practices of the eternal message of Vedanta is why we are here. For the benefit of the public and practitioners by providing a place of worship, which we have done, and a place for meditation in Dublin, giving talks, lectures, workshops, interfaith activities with the Dublin City Interfaith Forum, conducting spiritual retreats and religious celebrations. And I think over the last few years, we have managed to do all of these things, but we have a lot more work to do, a lot more work. And it will also be attained by providing books, materials, spiritual counseling, and guidance. Subsidiary objectives, just to remind you, is to educate the Irish people to respect diversity and promote the fundamental harmonizing unity that Vedanta teaches, and to practice worship of the divinity in people by assisting the community through freely giving charitable works of spiritual counseling to those in need, material and financial support according to the center's financial ability. And lastly, as a subsidiary objective, to promote awareness among Irish citizenry of the life and teachings of Vedanta's saint, writer, educationist, and philanthropist, Irish-born Margaret Elizabeth Noble, known worldwide as Sister Nivedita. This is directly read from our Constitution. And so all our efforts going forward, whatever we do, has to be in line with that. Even for practical purposes, if we don't continue these objectives and fulfill these objectives, we will lose our charitable status because this Constitution is orientated toward our recognition as a charitable institution. And so if you want some advice, it would be to learn the Irish story, the land of saints and scholars. Celtic spirituality runs deep in this land. And there's a very good reason why Swami Vivekananda, having enumerated all the qualities that he saw in Sister Nivedita, ended with the most significant one. Above all, I value you for your Celtic blood. Celtic blood running through 6 Celtic nations, and it is only really a few left that are engendering the Celtic language and the Celtic culture, therefore. I think the last Celtic speaker in Cornwall passed away in the 1800s, 1840 something. And so Scotland alone has this with 30,000 and odd Celtic speakers, and in Ireland some 20,000 and odd. But in Brittany, in northern France, some 300,000. So this is not just about linguistics. It's about the deep, rich spiritual culture that sits here in Ireland, completely different from the rest of Christianity in its origin when it finally integrated with Celtic spirituality. And so to learn the stories of Bridget, for example, who was unique. She was not only an abbess, she was a bishop. Imagine, in today's Christianity, where there is a clear, certainly in Roman Catholicism, where there is a clear gender divide. So this uniqueness we are really building on. It is the divine mission. It is Ramakrishna's will expressing itself in this sacred land with its sacred reverence for the whole of nature. Now we come to the tissue part, Swami Vimokshananda. Dear Anna, what can I say? So when we did our inauguration in 2018, of course, I didn't have much of a chance to talk with him except when I drove him here to this premises. And I had to be upfront with him. I had to say, because in those days, this was an interesting area with a lot of crime. We had a lot of difficulties. We were under attack in many ways, gangs associated with drugs and so on and so forth. Don't worry, it's all gone. But you see, and again, that is through the divine grace. See. So I laid all this out. He said, I've been in South Africa and been held up at gunpoint. We are monks. If we have to, we will die here. And I thought to myself, here is the right man. You remember that? Yes. So fond did he become of Ireland that he kissed the soil of Ireland on the way to our registration for the GNIB. But I have to say, it was traumatic for me, very traumatic. Seeing the blood streaming down, I still have his DNA on my dhoti. And so what a wonderful man, and what a wonderful brother he has been. And we couldn't have asked for anybody better to be here, quite honestly. So whenever I was in any doubt on anything, he was a sympathetic listener, a wise counselor, and we worked together. We always made decisions jointly, and I think that worked extremely well. He never accepted my cooking. Nor do I blame him. But over the several 3 years, of course, I think I'm not sure if he ever understood my humor, but at least he pretended to, and that's all I can ask.
Is he trying, Swami?
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. But apart from that, and all the qualities that have been mentioned here, and I will miss him, there's no question, I will miss you. But as you say, you're not gone forever. And even when you retire, wherever it is in Bhubaneswar, without any cell phones or anything else, I'll give you a call and find out how you are. But what a keen photography is, what an eye, is a spiritual lesson to all of us. That when we look at something that seems to be ordinary, we can see something extraordinary. And it takes the spiritual eye to see the spiritual dimension of all the scenes and all the people and places and events around us. So he is a wonderful photographer. Whether he is better than Brian or not, we will leave this up. We will leave them to dispute this amongst themselves. I found him an excellent communicator. I am not a good communicator, as many of you know. You'll give me a phone call or a message. I might reply to you next week, but Swami Vimokshananda managed to keep in contact with all of you. And his door was always open to all of you. And I asked him to teach me how to do this, but it still remains a closed secret. My attitude has always been, unfortunately, come if you want, stay if you can, go if you must. From Swami Shantivratananda, I hope that I will gain some youthfulness from you, because I'm also 70 something. You can fill the gap in. That's also a trade secret, certainly in my 70s. So the work we have to do is work together from here on. And it is well to find out what our strategic plan is. From year to year, we make out a strategic plan at our annual general meeting. And I hope that you will attend. And those attending require being members. This is part of our constitution. Membership fees can be paid, And Swami Vimokshananda's suggestion that you have a kind of a standard direct debit or something will be extremely useful to us, because the one thing we don't have is we don't have accommodation for men and women visitors. And so devotees who want to come and stay, they will have to find some airbed place or B&B or an expensive hotel nearby. And so our next phase from the start has always been to build some rudimentary accommodation. Given the size of this place, it will really only be able to accommodate 8 people, 4 men, 4 women in separate sections. And even that will be dormitory style. But this will cost money, of course. And we are not hesitant to ask for it, because we know that whenever we ask, it's forthcoming. And we remember, we are doing the most charitable work that you can find anywhere on the planet. And that is, we're giving people the opportunity to access Vedanta, which in turn gives us the opportunity to access our own freedom. And no more charitable work could there be than this. Swami Vivekananda's ranking would be that, top priority. Secondly, give people an education. Thirdly, uplift people as you can materially and physically. But lastly, save a life. And so society has turned this upside down. And the COVID crisis, it has made saving a life the priority. But in our philosophy, our life is fleeting. My life is fleeting, your life is fleeting. Mine is nearer to the graveyard than yours. And I won't be here forever. And so with that, my aim is to make myself redundant and pass everything on. And we know we have introduced the subject of Vedanta through these various courses. These courses are accessible to people who have never heard of Vedanta before, and to people who have never heard of the accompanying psychology that goes with it. And many of you have come to Vedanta, particularly the Irish people, through this course, the Enneagram and Essence of Truth. If you haven't done it, and yes, I'm going to advertise it, because next week we hope to have another fundamental session, 27th, 28th of the month. It is not about whether you can afford it. Actually, you cannot afford not to do it. But it's not about money. So we don't consider it in any way important whether you can afford it or not, because it was all done for free, and you can give a donation if you like, according to your means. It's not about that. It's about spreading the message of the Vedanta. It's about uplifting humanity as best we can, or encouraging people to do that from within. So with these few words, I say a very fond farewell to Swami Vimokshananda, my very, very dear brother. I will always remember you. You will always be in my thoughts and prayers, as I'm sure I will be in yours. And I welcome the new vital energy of Swami Shantivratananda. Thank you.
We will now have a very short arati, so with the hymns.
All of you can stand up now.
Sarvamangalam.
Sarvamangala Mangale Shive Sarvartha Sadhike Sharanye Trambake Gauri Narayani Namostute Srishti Sriti Vinashana Shakti Bhumi Sanatani Namo महाराज की जय। जय महामाई की जय। जय स्वामी जी महाराज की जय। जय भगवान बुद्ध देव की जय। जय भगवान यीशु क्रिस्तु की जय। जय लोक माता निवेदिता की
Ramakrishna Sharanam.
Page 17, hymn 13. Page 17, hymn 13.
जय जय राम कृष्ण शरणम राम कृष्ण शरणम राम कृष्ण शरणम शरणे। जय जय राम कृष्ण शरणम राम कृष्ण शरणम राम कृष्ण शरणम शरणे। प्रभु कृपा ही केवलम कृपा ही केवलम कृपा ही केवलम शरणे। प्रभु कृपा ही केवलम कृपा ही केवलम कृपा ही केवलम शरणे। जय जय राम कृष्ण शरणम राम कृष्ण शरणम राम कृष्ण शरणम शरणे। प्रभु शरणागतो हम शरणागतो हम शरणागतो हम शरणे। प्रभु शरणागतो हम शरणागतो हम शरणागतो हम शरणे। जय जय राम कृष्ण शरणम राम कृष्ण शरणम राम कृष्ण शरणम शरणे। प्रभु नमः श्री गुरवे नमः श्री गुरवे नमः श्री गुरवे नमो नमः। प्रभु नमः श्री गुरवे नमः श्री गुरवे नमः श्री गुरवे नमो नमः। जय जय राम कृष्ण शरणम राम कृष्ण शरणम राम कृष्ण शरणम शरणे। राम कृष्ण जय जय राम कृष्ण राम कृष्ण जय जय राम कृष्ण राम कृष्ण जय जय राम कृष्ण राम कृष्ण जय जय राम कृष्ण। राम कृष्ण शरणम राम कृष्ण शरणम राम कृष्ण शरणम शरणे। जय जय राम कृष्ण शरणम राम कृष्ण शरणम राम कृष्ण शरणम शरणे। प्रभु कृपा ही केवलम कृपा ही केवलम कृपा ही केवलम शरणे। प्रभु शरणागतो हम शरणागतो हम शरणागतो
this concludes our session today here, and we'll say goodbye to all our online devotees here at this point, because we'll now commence for a small lunch here at the ashram. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining in. Wishing you all a very blessed week ahead. Thank you.
Thank you.